nekwekwe kona bia nanya na kebe nekwekwe kona bia ebem jelu ekweje gwanu mi femgeme omuwa batanu gwanu mi femgeme ejimgugwo ekwe mgbadike ekwe anọkwa mbeme ijelobia iwe bụ akpa ego wee bịa iwe dọkwasị m n'ụkwụ iwe na-ayọ m wee jụ iwe na-ebe akwa ị na-ebe akwa onye na-eti gị ekwe mgbadike ekwe onye ibe m na-ewe iwe nya biko wee gbuo ya ọsụkọsụ nwamkpi nya biko sugbuo ya onye ife m na-ewe iwe nya biko wee gbuo ya.
Uncle, right? I have the right to address Showore the way I like. You don't know what Showore did to me. So learn to control your emotion, right? That is the only thing I'm going to tell you. But if you don't want to control your emotion and you insult me here, I'm going to insult you 100%.
Okay.
You understand? You cannot insult me on a normal ground. Physically, you can't insult me, right? I will treat you like a child. If you insult me physically, I will handle you like a child. I don't care your age. Do you understand? You are powerful over the camera, so you can say whatever you want to say, but you can't yet say it to me physically. You understand? I will handle you like a kid.
Can we arrest the meeting ground? Can we arrest the meeting ground?
So learn to control your emotion. You understand?
Please don't take him out. I also have a right to respond because you mentioned my name. There's no need to take him out. All you have to do is to meet them or something. And you're taking too long to admonish them.
Comment.
What did you say?
Comment.
I know, but he mentioned my name, so I'm asking to respond to him.
When he gets your time, then you make up.
No. He mentioned my name.
If you want to make it rowdy, I will take you out.
Take me out, you son of a bitch. Take me out. You think you're a big boy because you're moderating.
Take him out, please.
In order to enable all of us to enjoy our holidays, a token has been sent to our various accounts by the clerk of the National Assembly. I withdraw that statement. In order to allow you to enjoy your holiday, the Senate President has sent prayers to your mailboxes. To assist you to go on a safe journey and return. This Senate.
No, this rally make my blood pressure go up.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You're laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam, thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and those days we used to watch wrestling. Will have said, children of all ages, you are welcome to yet a reaction side of what we have heard. We have been discussing with Venerable Chukuka, and he has given us a lot of information, some new, some not very new, but a disposition that many of us would like to, think about, take home and chew. And so we're going to take a reaction to those discussions that we had. Today, I'm just going to keep myself within that parameter, except of course, there's something that is, totally necessary. We'll just be talking about that which he discussed because he raised a lot of issue, and some of you, I know, are itching to ask, a lot of questions or even give your own reaction to whatever has been discussed. So you have the opportunity to do that on this part of the program. My name is KJ. I'm only sitting in for Dr. Rudolph and Dr. Damages on this show. So if you are with me, let us ride into that. Venerable Chukuka, who is, he has traveled around the world and has gone to, he's a church planter, he is a businessman, he is a pastor, he is, when you're vulnerable, it simply means that you have come of age in the Anglican Communion, and it's not a small position to hold. And so he has been one of those who have, had a lot of impact in terms of planting churches, in terms of even preaching the gospel. And like he told us, he has come from a family where it's become, he's the fourth generation. In other words, if we go by the Bible teaching, when you get to the fourth generation, that means your family has been able to conquer the little obstacles, or rather, or in another word, demons that are, maybe prevalent in your life, in your bloodline. So from this point going forward, we are likely to have amongst his children some very great preachers and men of God who God will call and use. But having said that, I want to welcome my brother and fellow Ire man in a different style.
I don't say you be fellow Irish before. Maybe I don't trust you. I don't trust you like that.
Okay, my man, it's good to see you. Funnily, I never drew out my escapade as a young man. I never smoked.
I can see it in your future. It's in your future.
I was only able to drink one bottle of beer. I never went beyond one bottle. And even that was forced. They forced me to do it. My friends who just kept thinking that maybe because I have a light brain.
When we don't succeed overturn Christianity, we will make sure they will convert you. You go smoke about first before you go. Not turn by turn. Our time them they come.
That time pass is not going to come back, my brother.
Don't be only Christianity go reign forever. Our time them they come. But they know what we are coming.
No, that time not rain pass now. That time not rain pass.
No, they win. They won, but don't worry, we never finish. They don't finish us. We see they come.
Going around what is happening on Earth now, do you think that this Earth still have more than up to 100 years?
Why not? Okay, my problem here, when I say we were there alive, right?
Yes.
We believe that we are so special, right? So now we special about people that came before us. We are more intelligent. No, we're not.
I agree.
As those come go so. That's what we say go past. Other people go continue.
Yeah, but you see, over here I'm caught, and I'll give you this. This is my personal challenge. You know, in the Catholic Church, we pray the prayer of the Lord's Prayer, which at the end of it will end world without end. That's the Catholic Church. They say world without end. Now, if we are praying for world without end, it means that there's a disconnect here. But if you go to another level of Christianity, they tell you that it doesn't. That's an addition of the Catholics, and consequently, other Bibles don't have that addition. Now, there are many, like I said in the program, because it's not regulated like you regulate science, like you regulate technology and all those things. Because the word of God or the teaching of Christ or the Bible itself doesn't have a rule to say, unless you have attained to this level, you cannot interpret it. It gives people the room to maneuver and to use it as a tool to begin to, deceive people. And I want to say this. I have said it on this panel before, but I will say it again. If you go to the teaching of Christ, the first temptation that the devil came to him with was the temptation of turning the word of God into bread. He said, if you say you are the Son of God, turn this stone into bread because you are hungry. So we still have people who are turning it into bread. So it's not out of place. Actually, if you ask me, go ahead.
If you say the Bible was not regulated, I would disagree, right? Because even you go agree with me that that's not the complete Bible. A lot of books were left out, right? Those way they argue that one. But most importantly, okay, now imagine say tomorrow we don't come go. They won't start tell the story of your existence, of your life. They cut you hard. They start with your grandson, not even your son, your grandson. Eh? That means you and your son never existed. Because those way they interpret Bible, that's what they are implying when they say the Jesus Christ. No, the word has been existed before they come write Bible. So what those people where they what about them? Where are they going to end up in? So, okay, I'm saying this because
I can answer that question for you.
The Bible where they talk so now the people just like I say with the defeaters, those people who won the race, not them, their Bible be this so right? Now they see they win, now they see the rain they go. So that's why I thought say times to come now other civilization everything go now it go continue. My own where are they kind of leaning to in terms of the word go end is that once you die, your word has ended. You don't finish. You know, so to you the word has ended, right? So that's what I believe. They say the world will just end at once. I mean, we are just we think we are too special. I mean, we are ready for too much. Those that came before us, that's not belief too. I believe. So people that will come before us will continue the story. So if you die, okay, your world not end. Like just like Buhari died, the word Buhari word ended. As far as it's concerned, there's no word longer existing.
Buhari, which of the Buhari? The one that died yesterday or the one that died before?
That died.
Okay.
I think that
it is
so.
good that I have two of you here because
I think that so.
You
want to exist again for him. Go ahead.
Ovia, you're at the other end. Oti, you are on this end. So let's have a conversation. Oti, what do you say?
To what? So what's the question?
The question was, I mean, Ovia brought a very nice conversation, which is that maybe we who are presently living now are giving ourselves too much importance to think that everything is rising and ending with us because other people, greater people have lived. So we cannot pride ourselves as the greatest in the, just like when America speaks, America say we're the greatest nation on earth that ever existed. But if you look at it, if you go to the book of Daniel and thinking about this great statue, you find out that the legs were made of what? Were mud, okay, and clay, okay, and so and wood.
But most importantly, those that will come in the future will say they are more important than
it's a big question, really, because
yeah, that's why I like you are here.
The thing is this: if we're talking about progress, knowledge, and technology, right? I mean, there are in these areas that is quite measurable. You can see them. You can see progress that mankind is making. but in some other areas, I don't think it's quite. We can't really see history as being, have a progression as such. That is we're making. So it's not. So in terms of Christianity, for example, now you will discover that what we call Western civilization, Europe, one can actually make the case that they have retrogressed, from the time, from the period of what we know as modernity. That really can be said to be a retrogression in of Europe, of the what you call the West. It's because now, even though they equally, on the other hand, it can be seen as, I mean, the triumph of rationalism, okay, science. On the other hand, it's actually, that's when they begin kind of they lost their way, lost sense of really what life is about. Then they can no longer say this is the good. What is the purpose of man, right? So at the point they were quite they had it all together,
Yeah.
that
Oti, let me put this question for just where you are now. You are saying that if the Christianity is retrogressing, and I cannot see your point.
No, I'm not,
But no, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just, yeah,
I
just a question.
Christianity. I'm talking about civilization, right?
Oh, civilization.
Western,
okay.
Not Christianity.
Okay. But will you retrogressing? Yeah, that's a powerful assessment. But no, I want to ask you a question. Look at it from this angle. I will rather than retrogressing, I will say I think we are evolving. Now we can question what we are evolving to, right? Or whatever that we are evolving to.
Right.
But
Okay.
rather than retrogressing, I think we are evolving. Yes. And those who cannot see that will say, okay, put it in a different way. So my question, because the question I actually wanted to ask him, that I had in mind since a couple of days ago to ask him, was, is in concept of religion now, are you sure is both religion, when I mean both, I'm talking about the Christian and the Muslim religion, but if not both, the Christian religion, aren't we think they are evolving to another religion called capitalism, and the god of that capitalism is money? So that was
no.
You don't see it like that.
You see, no. You see, Christianity. I'm a Christian, right? And you find out that because you see, look, that's why when you talk about, listen, you can actually study this. Is that really know when it started? When their system, okay, the cohesive society, where they really knew what was before modernity, before Machiavelli, with his kind of politics and all of, I mean, there's no longer kind of a common understanding, agreement about what is good, okay? The good life, for example. All these things, all these ideas, begin to disappear. It's all about rationality, individualism, and instrumentalization of reason. And then of course come capitalism, so capitalism is that's when this tied up with individualism, liberalism, all right? So that's how it carried on up to where we are today, okay?
Which is the evolution that I'm saying, that people say are evolving.
It's not necessarily progress. Okay, now then they stopped going to churches, kind of they started having less use of God, Nietzsche, God is dead and we killed him. So now it's kind of reliance on human reason, the sovereignty of man, okay? It's no longer the sovereignty of the creator of God. So that is kind of a descent, okay? Now, so that evolution is there, but it can find out also they have to kind of coming back. Even today, the contemporary, it's like the Europeans are going back to church, okay? Now, going back to churches, right? the Catholic Church or to, you know. So
that's what they are doing now. The Catholic and the Trump administration generally.
It's not capitalism, you know, if like becoming their God. No, that God is a false God, you know.
No, but
because
I said that. No, I said capitalism is a religion. Why the God of religion is money?
but it's a false God. You know, there have always been false gods, right? Idols. You know, so
Okay, you see money as a false God.
Of course it is. If
Okay.
the Bible says it, it's you know, it's clear in the Bible. It's a false God. You can worship it, but you're worshiping an idol. It just like maybe success, celebrity, all these things. You can worship.
What about those that argue that?
Even
What
science.
about those that argue that it's the same man that invents the idea of God also invent the idea of money?
No, it's not true. It's not. You see, because the thing is this. You see, man. First of all, can you imagine the arrogance? You know, you don't know where it's coming from, and then somehow you believe you invented yourself. You know, that is the height of impudence and arrogance. You know, so really, and then again, this believing, thinking, relying on reason, human reason. There's a limit to human reason. You know, even this thing we call reason, really cannot separate it from faith. Okay, faith, really, reason somehow is that's what is called an amnestic reason. In other words, reason has to be conscious, aware of its origin. In other words, the reason cannot, without faith, there's no reason when you think about it. So you know, the human reason is limited in what it can do because it cannot. You know, so that's the reason why there are things you cannot.
Okay, so do you believe in concept of heaven?
Now, you see, the way I will answer this question is this, okay? Because, you know, the Bible we read, okay, as Christians, and I don't have to, I, for one, take everything literally, okay? Heaven, well, the Bible talks about heaven, but the Bible will also have to understand it. You know, there's a theology to it. There's a, you know, which most of us, if you have not, you know, that's the heaven. Believing in it, I must say I believe in it, but you know,
this is why I asked that question. I asked you to say
having knowledge about something. They're two different things, okay? You know,
this is why I asked that question. Maybe we'll give it more context. I asked that question because before Bible, before you know what we believe now, yes. What happened to the people that are living then? Where are they now? Are they in heaven, hell? So
so yes, it's a good question. You know, I mean, you see, and that is now, for example, when I mean, I for one, and I don't think you know, even any preacher, any man of God, any man of God, or woman of God can really take the Bible, you know, have a defend or justify a literal interpretation of the Bible. No, because it's not a historical book. Okay. Now, for example, the book, the Genesis, and then so it cannot be. Some of these things we have to have if like a kind of an understanding of it that is, you know, if like metaphorical. Okay. So it's not science. It's not history. That is not the way the book should be taken. And maybe we're going to talk about this inspired. Yes. It's written, I mean, you know, under the guidance, but you have to look at it, you know, they have a complete picture of it. Okay, it's not just one book, and maybe you put one verse or one book say this thing is mad and all that, but you know, you have to have the context to it, and that's why it requires training and the education and you know, and you know, knowledge of different other fields. So you can't just read the Bible alone from maybe Genesis to Revelation, only reading the Bible, and because then you think you've
my concern is my concern. When I was in college, I had this girlfriend in Chinese. I'm the first person she saw Bible with. She was kind of carried away. What is that? Like the idea of God. So it's not that she does it. It's kind of new. It's like me speaking my language to you, trying to tell you. Like so, so then I begin to think. Say, come. What is it that these people will not make heaven at all? No.
Like the question that he was asked about. Okay, even I didn't ask that question. You know, like, you know, who is gonna be served, right? who the kingdom, the Bible, Christ is about the kingdom, right? Not the kingdom of this world, his kingdom of God. So who is to be admitted? Who qualifies? I don't think anybody can answer that question. Okay, you can refer to your Bible, say the Bible says this, but how do you know that Bible contains everything, right? Or that
No, but how do you explain those that never come in contact with the Bible, that have no idea what we are talking about? How do you?
Or even our
I
forebears that never had them, never, So how are you to say that they're not gonna be in heaven?
I can answer that question.
I don't know.
If you allow me, I can answer that question.
Go ahead.
That's one of the most simplest questions to answer, because there are precedents in the Bible where these things have happened. You see, that's why some of us, what we need to do is sit down with the Bible. When you have read it as a history book, then read it as a spiritual book. It will give you an opening. But if you come with a preconceived mind, you cannot be able to engage.
So answer it. So what happened to it?
So now here's the answer to it. In the Bible, there have been different times that cities and places were destroyed. Was anybody spared at that place? When the Noah flood came, how many people were saved? At the time that Sodom and Gomorrah was taken out, how many people were saved?
In other words, are you challenging the historicity? Is that?
I'm talking about people that casualty didn't happen.
So I'm simply telling you that those people, let's say, for instance, a nation or a state or a village or a community that have never been exposed to the gospel, what they know because before the law came, people were operating on what was taught, what they were told. Right. Those things are the same thing. That same standard is going to apply to you or to anybody who does not come in contact, who does not have understanding, or
who does not know Christ. Who does not know Christ.
Yes, but the mere fact that you heard and refuse to come in does not accept it, does not also exonerate you from saying, okay, now, because I didn't accept it, I can't be judged by that standard. If you have the opportunity of hearing, you have come to the understanding.
But the question is those who never heard.
Who never had the opportunity of hearing. Okay? Because there are 6 places that have not been reached. Remember that some time ago in Nigeria, we discovered a new community called the Kuma community on top of the hill. Okay, those people have never been they've not been exposed to civilization, and nobody could have thought that kind of people existed. But so there are communities that have been kept away from whatever is going on now. Those people, God will judge them based on their standard that He has given in that community, as the leaders have set to be able to govern them.
No, but the preacher that came, he didn't answer this way, okay? Because again, it was just it's like the literalism of the Bible. The Bible says,
No. For this preacher, that's what I said at the end. If he came in as a completely an Anglican preacher, I would not even have anything to say to him, because we are far too far away. But he has advanced so much, from where the Anglican Church itself is standing.
Okay.
So he has a deep understanding. He has a lot. You can't even call him an Anglican preacher anymore, because he has gone beyond that point. But and then why do I say that? Is that Anglican?
But again, you discover. So see, even amongst in Christianity, you can find out that there are kind of different interpretations. And then if this is the fact, how would you begin to? Because people who are not even Christians, even when amongst Christians themselves, there are different interpretations, of what the gospel, what the teaching of Christ means. Are you with me? So really, yeah. So who is right and who is wrong?
All right, let's invite Chris. Chris, you're welcome. I still see Austin. Austin, are you in Nigeria? Chris, hold on. Are you in Nigeria?
No, I'm in UK. I'm in Newcastle, United Kingdom.
All right, okay. So because if you're in Nigeria, we'll give you preference, because you put the network there is not very stable. But since you're in UK,
my network is perfectly okay.
All right, okay. Let's hear
from the dark background.
Let's hear from Chris. After that, we'll come to you, sir. Chris.
Okay.
You already said your name is Christian, so I don't need to ask you if you're a Christian. So you must know deep into these things. What do you think the Venerable was able to let us know why he was on this platform?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you're hearing me.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I like his submission on the part that he acknowledged the wrongdoings of the church people. However, I have a lot of issues with the things he's saying. He says that church is not a religion, or Christianity is not a religion. Religion is, and then he's preaching about kingdom of God, and religion is a relationship between man and God. So he can't have it both ways. That's one side. The other side is, when I asked him a question, why? He being a venerable is and it will be considered as one of the elites of his society, right? And one thing I've discovered about the elites of these societies, of Black societies, is that they don't interrogate issues properly. They just simply take it, especially in Igbo society. They just take it and then abandon their own culture, because religion is a culture, So before the advent of a white man, there is a culture that is prevalent in the Igbo society. In fact, actually, if anybody read Things Fall Apart, they would have had this conversation between the white preacher and is it Ezra or so, if it's something like that. So, but culture, as you are aware, is something that is very living, so it interacts, and therefore it behoves on the elites of the society to be able to, figure out how to, use what they have to adapt what is the foreign, coming to interfere in their own way of life. Because whether we like it or not, culture is the DNA, is the gene of every society. It forms the character of that society, So even as it's a living thing, it interacts with other cultures, okay? So what I found hard is when I asked him question, why is it that they're finding it difficult, to promote or to adapt this foreign religion to suit our lifestyle or our own culture? It has no answer to it, and that worries me a lot, because even as it is today, the Christianity has, if you look at the Asia and Africa, we were both colonized by the Europeans. But the difference why the Eurasians are able to go back to development is because they haven't adopted the white man's religion and culture, So, but in our own case, we adopted their own culture and threw away on our own culture, and it has been affecting us adversely. So the more he go out there to plant churches everywhere in Black Africa, I think it causes more harm, to our own civilization, and to our own way of life. And so I don't know what to make of it, but
okay, let me just throw this in, Chris. Is democracy our way of is it a part of the way we govern ourselves in Africa? Democracy.
Yes. You see, people think that democracy is something that the Europeans gave us. That is not true. That is not true.
What we are practicing now in Nigeria is we gave it to ourselves.
No. So,
you know why?
so we are not even practicing democracy in Nigeria. But I'm just trying to explain to you that democracy is not something that Europeans gave to the black race. For instance, in Igbo land, where I come from, right, we used to have the purest form of democracy before the white man came. Okay? Yeah, because democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. In other words, people come together to arrange how the society will be governed, who governs them, and how that society, and what those that are governing should do. And we have been doing that, before the white man. So, but what actually is the difference now is that they gave us a different form of electioneering system, different form of electioneering system that maybe.
So the question where I'm going with that, I'm coming. Where I'm going with that is that we are quick to condemning, this when it has to do with this Christianity, but we don't condemn any other form of religion except Christianity. But we are quick to also adapt and say that no, our nations, our countries must continuously to remain democratically governed space. Now, the Venerable started his statement by which you say you didn't understand, which is that he was saying the gospel of the kingdom. The gospel of the kingdom was actually spoken about in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 14. Say, the end will not come until this gospel is preached to all the nations. So the gospel of the kingdom is the last gospel that we preached around the world. Because when we have gone from all this it's a rotation. There are 5 pillars. You have the evangelists, the prophets, the apostle, the teacher, and the pastor. Now, it started from the apostles, and it will go around the circle. Now, if you notice this progression of things, you find out that earlier in the 80s, we really have people who call themselves apostles and prophets. But now we are having people reverse back to say, I'm apostle this, I'm prophet this. So we have gone around the circle. If you understand the theory of the wineskin bag, the wineskin have an opening that goes around until it comes back to the mouth. So that we have gone through that process, and we are coming back to the end of the gospel, which is the gospel of the kingdom, which majority of the people who know are preaching now in most churches, whether they are Orthodox or they are Pentecostal or apostolically led or prophetically led churches. They are all talking about the gospel of the kingdom. And I just try to want to put that in before Oti said what he wants to say.
I want to see the question you asked you. I want to clarify it to Chris.
Okay.
Chris, because now it's not when KJ talked about democracy. It's not really democracy, but to make it clearer. And remember, this is because you said talking about our culture is like we abandon our culture. So the question he put to you is this: I mean, after all, we have the modern state formation, okay, constitutional state. I mean, why don't we go back? Is that how we used to govern ourselves? Is that so? Or even our education system? So you really cannot say or reject Christianity, say it is something Western, something foreign, and whilst also holding on to other aspects of this foreign culture, education, the form of state, nation state. Did we have that before? So
no, you got it wrong. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay.
No, but you talked about culture. I mean that.
Yes, I'm talking about culture. Religion is part of culture.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Religion is part of culture. And let me say this: if you say, can we abandon? Is it possible to reject Christianity? Yes, it is possible. Japan did it. Japan
sorry,
did it. They rejected Christianity. Actually, they killed a lot of their people who embraced Christianity at that time. Now, but what I'm trying to explain to you is simple, okay? No, I've said it. A culture is the gene that shapes the characteristics of every society.
So is the Western education part of our culture? Is Western education, is it part
you
of our
call it Western education, but it's not education. You see, that is the problem.
So what
is it? The Western education that they gave to us, do you think that is doing us a good favor or not? That is the problem.
Okay.
So you call it Western education. So it's not that our people haven't been having education.
No, excuse
okay.
me. So why
Had it been that they allowed us to develop our own system of education?
Excuse me.
Because people think that the forefathers didn't do much.
Hold on. No, Chris, you are calling forefather. He's here now. Forefather is
no,
here.
I mean, I'm not the forefather. That one, I mean, our ancestors. Those, you know.
All right. No, let's hear from forefather because he's here. Let him answer for his people.
Okay, let me make this final point. You can have it both ways. Now, you're talking about they not allow you. Who will not allowing you? Now, for example, our school system, the language of instruction is English. What stops us from having our own indigenous languages? So you cannot, on one hand, rejecting a culture and then you can't even stand for yourself and then use your own language. Oh, come on. So where do you stand? You can't have it both ways.
No. Listen. If you come to Europe here, every little country speak their own language.
Why are you not speaking yours?
So the reason why I speak English is because I've been forced to take the English.
So Chris, that's what the problem is. Guys, hold on. Let's bring in forefather. That's what the problem is. You see, we were colonized as India. India today wears their cultural cloth, whether they are in America or wherever they find themselves. They eat their cultural food. So who is, and they speak their language. Who is forcing us to speak English? And I will let forefather, because he must have participated in that time. Let forefather tell us why his people did what they did and not change us back to our various languages. Forefather, please, you're welcome.
Greetings, all the panelists. Greetings to KJ for hosting the chat, and to the viewers. This is like there's an element of victim blaming here, or kind of there's a roundabout way of looking at things. The way I look at it is that culture is a way of life, isn't it? But if you are not the pinnacle of that culture in terms of controlling it, you tend to suffer reverses. In the sense that if you look at the Europeans now, the Christianity is not theirs. It was a Jewish, had a Jewish origin. But when they took over the faith, they took control of it. So in other words, they understood that if this faith puts other people first, they are not going to be first. So they put themselves first. They made Jesus Christ's image that of their looking like them. They didn't say the Jesus Christ's image should be looking like that of Christ. He made it look like them, and they controlled it. As a matter of fact, they persecuted the Jews for killing Christ on top of it. So, but what we do is we practice it in such a way that the control still belongs to the other groups, and to pretend as if religion doesn't have any kind of political influence over the people that adhere to it. It's not true, because clearly it advances the interests of the people that originated that religion. If you don't take control of it, if you look at, for an example, in the case of the UK where I sit here, the Catholic faith was very dominant, but the King Henry, I think Henry VIII or so, decided to create his own English church. Why? Because he doesn't want other people to be controlling the UK from Rome. And guess what? They went on to rule the world after doing that. Because sooner or later, you have to realize that you have to take ownership. If you have to use anything that's from outside, you have to take ownership of it. You cannot put other people first. If you look at, I've seen adverts, even of videos going back just a few months, where black people will post images of the devil looking like black man, and the God like a Igbo man. It's like the damage that has done to our psyche as a people. It's just, I don't know how deep it goes even. And these are the same people we are going to go into a boardroom with to go and negotiate trade deals with, security pact with, and everything. When you basically see them in the image of God, that is a problem. You have to one way or another exercise that from your society. Because
but in the discussion that the Venerable had, he didn't say that we are actually seeing, God in the image of the white man, because the Bible makes it clear how Jesus looked, and the people who were, the people of that time. One of the leaders of Egypt said the reason why he does not have respect for Israel was because they left as black people and came back as white. That I can find that quotation and show you.
They said this. Sorry, KJ. They say that, but in reality, in their minds, you can tell, because whenever they try to bring the image of God out and bring the image of devil out, how many times have you seen devils in Nigeria that look like white man? How many times? It's full regalia. Devil in his full regalia look like white man in Nigeria.
I don't want you to take us away from
because this is serious. Because when we keep maligning our own very image that God gave us, what does that tell you? It tells you that you have corrupted your own self and allowed that to foreign interpretation of your own nature to hold sway. And if you do that, how can you excel in this world?
If you ask me, when I was in the Catholic Church, if you enter the Catholic Church, the cathedral, you see pictures on the wall running from, we call it the Stations of the Cross. Okay, in most African churches that I went to, African Catholic churches, those Stations of the Cross were image of black people as Jesus. It wasn't white people. Okay,
I have never seen them. If anybody has ever seen them, they should testify to this. The church testified. I've never seen in the Nigerian church Jesus Christ with black. Never.
Listen. I practice Catholicism. I practice it very well. I'm telling you. In fact, if you want to know, there's a place called St. James Seminary in Makurdi. Okay, it was at the time it was being led by a Jesuit priest. Okay, those guys with the brown cassock. Now, if you enter his church, that's what you see all around. Okay. Now we understand that the picture that is being displayed for us, we know if you're a serious Catholic, a Christian, you know that is not the picture of Jesus, and neither is that the picture of Mary. We know that. We're not. In fact, some Christians, you can't go to their house. Like, you can't come to my house and see that picture hanging on the wall, because we have discovered.
So where is your headquarters? Where is the headquarters of your church?
Hold on. I want to help you know something. Many truths were taken away from the Bible, and that's why you start having the what they call the restorations movement. Okay, those restoration movements came all the way to the one we know of, the Azizi Street. Okay, some of those things that were taken away, God Himself is restoring it back by Himself. It used to be after every 50 years. Then He moved down to every 10 years. Then He moved down to every 5 years. Now it's almost on daily basis. God gives people revelations of what is missing. So I'll give you another example. I'm coming. I will end with this. I'll end with this. There's a place Jesus was speaking and said, "This kind does not go except with prayer and fasting." Now go look for the new Bibles that they are written now. They're publishing now. They remove that fasting. They just say except with prayer. So a lot of things have been edited. And that's why before we came to this point, one day I'll tell my wife, I'm going to go into the old libraries and buy old Bibles and stuff, because I guess that these people, since they've introduced this men and men something, they are going to try and edit some part of the Bible. And it's happening now. So that is what happened in the Council of Nicaea. That's what happened in the Council of Nicaea. That's what happened.
Your argument is that we are black. So your argument is that we have converted the church to a black church. Is that what you are saying? The headquarters of most of all these churches, where is it? Is it not in the case of Catholic, is still in the Roman Catholic? Vatican City, isn't it?
That means you're not been following the church. If you are following the Catholic, you have known that. I'm coming. If you are following the Catholic, you have known that the Catholic changed their way of even doing service almost like 20 years ago. They now do their kashok with our own adere and all the rest. They play their local instrument in their churches. Okay, they don't only
Yes.
sing. In fact, they sing in the local song created for the local people, and
20
they even
years.
dance. They even dance their local.
But you are not answering the question. Is he still in Vatican City or not? Is the head of the church not still Vatican City?
Sorry,
it does matter.
Let me answer the question. Is a universal church, right? So
yes.
And it has to have a headquarters somewhere in the Vatican. So, but it doesn't mean that the churches in Africa or in Asia or in Europe, they don't have the kind of their culture. Is not their culture is still valid. I mean, culture. There's nothing wrong with culture, but of course, if you're talking about paganism or idol worship, that's something different, you know. So which can exist in every culture, even in Western culture. But Christianity, Catholicism is a universal church, and it has, as a matter of historical, political, if like, contingencies. Rome remains the Vatican, the seat of the Catholic Church. So,
well, if you look at the Russian one now, Russia is basically, you can see that Russian is its own nation.
Well, yes, again, it's historical.
They have their own Orthodox church. I'm trying to make
it's a matter of history.
I'm trying to make a point because it does affect you in a civilizational sense. If let me give you an example, the one that you can see more clearly on the ground, like the ones that embraced Islam now. When they embrace Islam, first they will be Islamized, then the next thing is Arabized. The North Africa is you will be debating people whether North Africa is in Africa now. They are even calling it part of the Middle East now because of it. And that the same trend goes on everywhere. If you concede the control of your religion to another group of people, sooner or later they will gain an advantage over you. That is the truth of it. Historically, it has proven to be true. Like if you look at this, one of the issues they have with Iran is because Iran is not embracing the Arabic culture. Because if Iran was Arab, whatever they are practicing, they will be fine with it. So the entire thing, if you look at nations, okay, look at Turkey too. Turkey was a former empire, that's world power. But because they refuse to embrace the Arabic image, they always seem to have tension with the Arab, the ones that have converted to becoming Arab. So it does have power over you. As long as other people control it, they are the top of it. Because in that religion, in the document, they always say it. They give the people that originate that religion some kind of preference. They always do that.
Sorry.
If you look at the Christian, sorry. Let me finish. This one is a very important point. If you look at the Christian faith in the Bible, they will always say, "Don't curse the Israelis, don't curse the Jews." If you do that, all those sort of things. The same thing with Islam too. They always have something they will say about the language of the Arabic language and stuff like that. You have fine. Go ahead.
Now you forget that first of all, Christianity is not Judaism, right? And Christianity is not an European religion as such. It's not. Of course, because they brought it to Africa in evangelism through colonialism, part of that movement, discovery of new land, okay, and all that. Now, but as it is, Africa, nothing stops. I mean, there's also enculturation. So that means Christianity in Africa, we can worship in our own way. All right. So the things we do as Africans, as an Igbo man, Igbo people, Christianity does not stop us from doing it. Okay, so
it does affect
how?
us. You may not agree because you don't control the faith, except
what
we decide.
What do you control?
Let me show you what will solve it. Let me show you what will solve it. If we take the church and put it in Africa and say this is our own version of the church, this is the African version of Christianity. Yes, you control it then.
Let me even give you the converse case. All this when you talk about this control and domination. Now, you see now in the West now, because the way their society is developing, okay, or and when you talk about this defining marriage, or the marriage can now be between a man and a man and all that. You see, Africans are resisting that. Are you with me? So even though, it's not really a question of the Europeans because they brought.
Those are just.
Hold on, let me finish.
Those are just.
No. I'm just giving you an example. So it doesn't really. It belies. It does not.
Okay.
It does not agree with their thesis.
Can Chris say something?
So the Africans, we can control our Christianity to make it if like harmonious with our culture, our values. So it's not a question of the Europeans kind of having their way, dominating, bulldozing, and influencing us, and that we're not having a say. I don't think it's not that. I don't, it's not so. The facts do not bear that out, because
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example how that affects us. While they were giving us
if you allow Chris to say something.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, sorry. This argument about the effect of Christianity or whether it has influence, of course it has a lot of influence. It's what they used to colonize us in the first place. Don't forget. Excuse me, let me finish. Don't forget.
If it does have good influence, are you going to reject that? If the influence is good and positive and civilization,
no. Let me tell you something. When you are saying if the influence is good, who judges this good? Whether it is affecting Africa in a positive way now, the answer is no. Now, if
there are aspects, negative influences of it, of course we can reject that. We don't have to accept everything, hook and sink it.
But the moment they go, you are saying, why don't we create our... Now you're willing to accept other things.
Just can I say this? Okay, I don't like, so let me say it this way. Now, Christianity, like I said, is a culture. It has a right to interact with other cultures, right? But the way it was forced into forced on Africans is just to enable them to colonize and subdue them. Now, they were able to translate the Bible into different languages of the African countries, but they weren't able to translate in mathematics or physics, chemistry to other to these languages. Now, what it shows you in effect is this: because the religion itself, the Christianity itself, is meant to subdue the people so that they can follow the way they were asked to follow. That is why it was easy for them to do those things and forget about the ones that will be beneficial to the Africans: the physics, the chemistry, the maths. So, and this is I started by telling the Reverend that when I went to a white man's church, he said God is limited. Then I begin to realize that what he's trying to say is that the concept of God is man's concept. The more you understand your environment, the less you attribute it to God, and the more you assume that God yourself, because you can manipulate things, you can create things, and that's what God is.
Is that imagination? Is that your understanding?
Now.
How did you? That is their conclusion, right? That's what he's saying. Hello, is that what? Is that your, understanding?
No, what he's saying is that God is limited by the free will of man.
No, but
right?
I don't accept that.
Now, the free will of man is that you make decisions. You have right. You have free will to make decisions, and the decisions you make have consequences.
Chris, let me ask you something. See,
yes, somebody's backstage.
We have to be consistent, right? You cannot, on the one hand, you want, of course, to be treated as a human being, mature, reasonable, and self-directing. Now you're sitting here after colonialism ended when, and then complaining they didn't translate physics or chemistry into a language. Whose job is that to do that? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but Oti, if you are going by that premise, then why are you not saying that we should also translate our own religion, have our own religion, our own way, not rely on other people's religion? Because it looks like you are straddling two horses at the same time.
Let me answer him. Okay.
So who are you blaming for that? So
let me answer him.
People,
I'm not blaming the white man.
So what are you talking about? Who are you blaming then?
Okay, I'm not blaming the white man. I asked the venerable, why has it been difficult for the elites in Black Africa to understand that what the white man brought to them as Christianity or as a religion, they can actually adapt it because it has it's a living thing. Culture is a living thing, so it interacts. So in other places, I give you one example, which people which people will not know. Okay, the church. Those who brought church also brought things like Freemason, things like restitution order, things like all those things. They brought them. Do you are aware of this?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, maybe you are not aware,
How do you
but no, I'm just saying you are not aware. But if you go to the Yoruba land, for instance, today, they adapted one of those society in their own system. Okay? They adapted one of those society in their own system. And people today go into it.
But Christianity has nothing to do with
It's
Christianity.
what I'm trying to say is this, okay?
Yeah.
That religion itself is not the Christianity itself is not a problem. It is the way the African elites uses it that is a problem.
Who are you blaming
Now
for that?
he is trying to preach the kingdom of God, which is imaginary. That's what I'm trying to say. He's trying to preach the kingdom of God, which is also imaginary. And when you say that, it's based on belief and faith. Now, faith means, or belief means, I don't know. Okay? Belief means I don't know. Now, what I'm trying to say to him is this. We have our own culture that we could have actually used the templates our forefathers left for us to adapt their culture to suit us so that we can move forward. Because, like I said, the culture is the gene of every society. Now, if you leave your own gene and try to get another gene elsewhere, it will not match your own skin or your own body, and then you start having problems. So most of the problems we have in Africa today comes from the fact of abandoning our own completely, which is different from what you find in Asia. The Asians were able to go back to their own, they refuse to adapt to the white man's religion.
So that's the question.
Okay?
Hold on, Chris, hold on. That's the crux of the matter. If we have adapted this and now we found out that it's not in line with our tradition and culture, is there anybody holding a gun to our head and saying, do not change? Nobody.
Yes,
people like you now, you are the ones defending it now, you forgot?
Yes.
There are many people like you
well,
that are defending it.
Hold on.
That's the problem.
Hold on. You see, that let's not be rowdy so we can all hear each other. But haven't posed that question. I'll come back to answer if all of you have made your point. Let's go.
I don't know why.
I think great men have come. Jide is here. Dr. Rudolph himself is here. The Damages himself has come. And so Okboleman is here also. So let us hear what happened to Mr. Chris. All right, let's hear from you, Jide.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Greetings to everybody on the panel section. Greetings to everyone listening and those on the comment section. For me, I mean, both Christianity and Islam, they are both imperial religions. Islam is a tool of Arab imperialism. Christianity is a tool of Western European imperialism. And you see what Christianity has done, the damage it has done to an average African man's psyche it's beyond describable. Like it's actually extremely it's very damaging.
Sorry, DJ, let me also ask a question before you continue. Is it only Christianity that have done that damage? Some of the books you read, didn't they do damage? For instance, you were told that dinosaurs existed the earth, and dinosaurs turned to become birds. You have not talked about how this damaging those things are. But we're only concerned about Christianity. Is that the only damaging thing that we have all read as books? Go ahead, sir.
To be fair, to make things balanced, so it won't be like as if trying to demonize Christianity. To make this balanced, I mean, Christianity was used as a tool to modernize Africa today, even though, like I said, it did a lot of damage, but it's not to say, oh, everything it did was evil. But the legacy of Christianity overall has done more bad than good. But the key points that a lot of us are forgetting to mention, I think forefathers might have mentioned it indirectly, is the fact that as an African individual, particularly those in sub-Saharan Africa and the Africans in the diaspora, the tool of Christianity to cut Africans off their ancestry. Christianity was used to cut Africans off their ancestry, and that is extremely critical. If you look at other groups of people, except maybe Latin America, so Latin Americans to have that issue apart from Black people. But if you take away Black people and Latin Americans and look at other groups and how they've been able to make progress and develop, you say that there's a correlation between connection to their ancestry and their ancestral heritage with their spirituality. But what you have is when Christianity came to our soil through colonialism, like they ensured that as they brought in Western values, it came with a lot of vestiges that destroyed our cultural landscape. Individualism was one of them. The idea of modernity is another factor. Another factor is demonizing our ancestral heritage. They said they made us to understand that our ancestors were demonic. They were evil. They were demonic. Like, look, it made us have lack of respect for our ancestors, and it is affecting an average African psyche. That's why one of the reasons why we are not ever cohesive, because we don't really see ourselves, we don't really feel connected in a spiritual manner. Because what Christianity has done is it made us see that the superior deity is not even of our race, is of a superior race. And that race, we need to always validate that race, either directly or indirectly. So
okay, you have 1 minute, right? 1 minute. Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Look, the vulnerable one was here made an assertion that I've always talked about on this program, that the Igbos, I don't know about other people, the Igbo culture is what I know, have always have somebody they call the unknown God, Chi, that one that we don't know, that is in heaven. Now, every time they made references, they always tell you that this one exists. This one has a son, and this one has other people, angels and all that they may not be put in that order. But now, having a more understanding, I can tell you that they believe that those things existed. However, I don't want to hold a discussion to myself. So I will bring in, Ovie, just give me time. Let me go to Dr. Damages and come back to you, because Dr. Damages couldn't speak. No, Mbano, you are here, so give us your view. You want to run away from it? No, Dr. Damages has some issues with this thing. So the more we discuss about it, the more understanding that comes. Please let everyone have an open mind and let's discuss. Yes, Dr. Damages, go ahead.
What are we discussing?
Okay, Ovie will give you an inclination of what's going on. Ovie, go ahead.
Ovie, go ahead. Yeah.
The man that started the conversation, even before we even know. Now you don't know again. It's okay. Oh. Yeah. To say you the pastor now, I was there. I'm not surprised, but you are not. So, KJ, you say, boy, the question was we were forced. Rephrase the question again.
Yeah, the question is we from Judas' conclusion, okay, these things are foreign to us, and why is it that we're not able to take captive of it and bring it what we understand, instead of always constantly trying to refer to a foreign god? I don't think any true Christian will be referring to a god that's somewhere in Israel It doesn't.
Okay, let's see.
When you're praying, it doesn't come to your mind it doesn't come to your mind at all.
Let's use our current reality as an example, right?
Yeah, sir.
It is an average Igbo man believe that the Fulani man from the north will come and overrun them one day, right? That's no longer a myth. That's a lot of the belief out there. Let's say that happened, it succeeded, right? And force their way, take over the governing structure and everything, and introduce their way of life. 50 years down the road, is that the conversation you people will be having?
Okay.
Because I don't understand why we are debating this as if we went there to beg. They say, I beg, Mokuna come bring this thing to us. As I point out to our guests, our people were roasted like suya. If you just challenge what is this, you gone. That is how they force us. They force it on us. Now, if you are asking where they put gun for our head, yes, via you and pastors and every other person. Because guess what? That's why I put it to that our guests, soft power. That's what they are doing. They are appealing to our foolishness and our caution after they don't beat us to submission. Because that's what happened. We should start debating as if boy is good. No. The question is, who are we before they came? For God's sake, not be only us did this planet Earth. The country that actually manifests in terms of progress today are a country who succeeded in chasing Christianity away from their presence.
Okay.
So when would they argue that whether it's good or no good?
Calm down, Ovie. Calm down. You are quarreling the wrong people. Did you explain to us what you want us to understand?
I said it. I put it to him now. We don't want it.
Okay, hold on.
That's so hard to understand.
Okay, hold on. When you were talking, yes. I was just thinking about one thing. Why are you telling him to stop planting churches? I was thinking that you have to lead your own campaign, okay, to stop our people from going to church. Whenever I look at people who are at Odumeje's church, I feel like if I have the resources and the time, I will go there individually and talk to them and say, what's wrong with your head? What are you doing in this church?
No, but Dr. Lameji, Dr. Lameji, that's
believe. Hold on. If you believe something that is against what other people believe in, it's your job to go and educate people, not to.
No, Dr. Lameji, hold on. It is not about belief. You can only believe what you don't know.
Okay, hold on.
Let me answer him. Let me answer. I said he should stop because of his own action, because he was to get carried away with names and all. I say no, stop telling me you are sorry. I heard you that you are sorry. But you are still doing the same thing that you are sorry about. How do you expect me to understand that? Just stop. Instead of telling me sorry. Stop.
What I heard from you that was troubling was stop planting churches. I'm not going to tell anybody who, if you want to have your hair as Dada, you can have your hair as Dada.
Dr. Dameji, I am not saying he should stop because I want him to stop. I say, no. There's misunderstanding here.
Calm down. Okay.
Instead of telling me you are sorry.
Oh God, man. Let us not go
Go
there.
ahead.
If you allow him to talk, how then will you understand where
Go ahead.
So go ahead and make your point so we can move on. Okay. Let's elevate the conversation.
This is what I'm saying. You should stop. Okay. I said don't come because you say I'm sorry today. Tomorrow again, you come and tell me you are sorry. That's an insult. Stop it. Stop whatever you have been sorry for.
All right. Let's move on. Now. You have said that. We are having you say you should stop. Dr. Rudolph,
stop telling me sorry. Just put an end to it. Stop telling me sorry. Put an end to it.
Okay. Yeah, so the other person that I had said something I had a little issue with was Christian. Christian was talking about, I think it didn't come out well, but I understand what he was trying to say. If you look at Cherubim and Seraphim and some local churches, there's one in my hometown to where the guests who came from. It's called a Holy Sabbath Mission. It was started by somebody who is from our hometown. I don't know. The man is dead now. I wish I could interview him. I don't know how the idea came up, and it became an example of Jewish. When they talk about Igbos as Jews, they refer to his church. He's called, his name is actually, they call him Musa. I don't know how he got his name. He's one of the people I want to interview. But I mean, I'll interview the son because I'm writing some bios of people from my hometown. But anyway, so the man came up with a church, a mixture of Jewish, because they do certain things that are in the Jewish tradition, and Christianity. So I think, Christian, what you were talking about is that we could have adopted. And I think in most parts, some parts of even East Africa, you find some churches that have essentially transformed it into an African thing. They still use the Bible. And remember, even the Christianity we have today, we were able to bring in, I think it was the local Africans that brought in the dance and the music. And so it's happening. It's not happening as fast as most people may want. One of the questions I didn't get to when we were talking was there's a resurgence of a move back to traditional religion in the East, at least. That's where I know. And you see what Soludo is dealing with in Anambra State. There were people who basically have turned their back on Christianity, and a lot of young people. And when I go home, I will see somebody I went to school with, or they say, "Oh, don't go near that guy. He's now doing juju or something." That's how they call those things. So I brought him because we talked, and I thought that the emphasis would be on the failure of Christianity. And the result, because we are seeing the result of that failure, not just Christianity in the North. I don't think that Islam is working for them very well, but I don't know much about that, so I can't talk about that, but I don't think it's working for them too. So that failure and having someone who is a member of the church set up to come and talk about it and tell us what he's saying from inside was what I was thinking we were going to get out of it. It was really late when normally I talk to the guests before they come in, just to show them what goes on behind the scene, how the show is going to be. That was when the issue of something like the uncle came up. I knew that, but I didn't want to bring it up. But when he said it was okay talking about that, I said, okay, we can bring it up. So sometimes things don't go exactly the way you planned it. But my focus, the whole idea of bringing him here was to talk about Christianity, where it's working and where it's not working. But in general, the conversation you guys are having, and my view about Christianity is off the hook. If I say, I have issues with that, just like everybody else. Anybody who is really an African who cares about tomorrow, where we're going. Let me say this, and probably I've said it in one platform before. I think about hundreds of years. I don't think about today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, 100 years from now, 200 years from now. Where are we going to be? I wish I can think about and to know where we might be. Go back and look at where we were 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Look at the British, look at the Europeans, where they were 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and where they are going. And then you can see where we may go to if all things being equal. So the British now and the Europeans in general, they are no longer Christians the way they were 100 years ago. It's falling off. And they don't know where to go back to because they've lost whatever they were doing 300, 400, 600, 800 years ago. It will happen to us if we don't.
Okay. Can I answer that question for you, Rudolph?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said to the vulnerable, you see, the church started in Africa. The church will come back in Africa. If you go to the scripture, it says what? Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. I just paraphrase.
I have an objection to that. I've had a narrative. When is my thought?
Now, wow. Let me talk now. Now, the beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, I call out my people a city, a nation divided with two, divided by two rivers. Now, some people are giving that interpretation to mean Nigeria. Others are giving it interpretation to mean some part of Africa. It then simply means that as the Bible, what we are talking, which Chris quoted earlier on, Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, where he says that the gospel of the kingdom will be preached to all nations before the end will come. When that gospel of the kingdom, which is what the vulnerable are talking about, which is, I'm surprised that an Anglican vulnerable is even talking even about the kingdom, because these things are very strange. They don't talk about it before. If we even want to engage them in kingdom discussion, they tell what's kingdom. It says the Bible is something as kingdom. That's no different. But he has been able to distinguish himself, and I believe that he knows beyond what he has even said to us today, because not every truth that God gives you that you talk to somebody who does not, believe in God. Not everything he tells you. There's something that, just like Adebo said, I drank tea with God, and the whole world found it a bit difficult to believe. You are not operating at the level he's operating. There's many things he must have seen which you don't have an inclination of what it is.
Oh God, please don't go there. The man not
Yeah,
drink tea.
please don't go there. Please,
Let us leave it.
Come on now, stop that,
please,
abeg.
please, please
Again,
stop there. Please stop
Which
there.
kind of wetin dey talk?
Again,
Wetin be inclination?
here's what the Bible says. It says, "Men, what we don't understand, we disdain." That's what it is. Okay, if you are going to be a Christian, you either be a Christian by faith or you are not. It's a simple and short. Okay, you see, unfortunately, I find some of us very interesting, because as you are sitting there now,
KJ, they did not convert us by faith. They convert us by weapon. They did not use faith. Now you know faith past us. You know faith past them. They did not use faith. They're using physical torture. Is that faith?
No,
Come on, man.
Nobody who you see, let me tell you something. Even when
Nobody what? Say it again, repeat it again. Nobody what? Finish it.
I'm coming. At least we all read some part of history of the Igbo land. When they came, they were given what we call the evil forest to build their churches, believing that when they get in there, they will all die. Am I right? That
was after they were submitted by force. Why would they understand? They know be saying they come in peace. They never came in peace.
They were given.
Okay, let me hear your views. Let's move forward.
They were forced. Our people were forced to give out that place. They didn't give it out of we won't give them. No, they were forced after they don't kill a lot of them. Once you disagree, they'll kill you. So why you not go say go take that forest? I mean, why are we arguing as if we go invite them? Come on, man.
We didn't force anybody to give them.
I don't know why you're getting that story
We gave
from.
them willingly in Igbo land. We gave them willingly in Igbo land. Maybe your place, I don't understand.
Which year be that?
I from history. Listen,
what year? What year was that? What year was that? Sorry.
They have uncles who know about the church history in Okija.
Okay,
what year? Put dates to it so that we can put dates. What century?
Hold on. Let's not dominate the discussion. There are other people also who are here. Yeah, forefather. So far, you and
Let's check him now. Let's put fact to it. What year? We are educating people here. Let me go to Russia. We are not going anywhere.
I don't know. People told me the history, and I believe them because they were there. I mean, or people that their fathers were there. So you just stop asking me. If maybe your town is different, but I'm telling you, my town, they were given to them freely, and on the Chawe where I grew up, they were given the lands were given to them freely.
Even
of course, because you know why? Onitsha people travel to go meet Vikings and say, "Come and take land." Abi, that's what happened. Come on, man. I mean, let's this thing are common sense now.
I don't know. I don't know about your place. Maybe go and ask them. But I'm telling you,
it's not about place. I'm talking about the whole continent. It has nothing to do with place. The continent of Africa.
No,
place.
They did not fight for land.
I am asking you now. Your people travel to Europe and say, "My people, come and take land." That's what happened. Abi?
Okay.
Tell us the full story.
Hold on. All right, forefather. You have not said anything, and yes.
When you talked about that prophecy, about the prophecy, it just reminds me of how the present can be a consequence of the future. We have to be careful when we listen to all this garbage people spew out about us. Regarding what Ovie was saying, I do understand from the point of view that
I don't understand that statement. Can you help me, please? Don't be annoyed.
Okay.
Are you
doing that?
I'm coming. Are you saying that the garbage that is spewing against us that there was a white person existing before a black person? Are you saying that
if only you allow him land his point? He was going there. Just allow him finish.
Hey, hold on now, oh boy. I'm trying to moderate this thing now. Are you saying because if we go back in history, we find out that civilization started in Africa. That is not in dispute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, every other life that we see on earth today started from the black race, whether we like it or not. That's the truth. So let's not uneducate ourselves of what we already have established. You can go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think where we corrupt everything is where, like when you talked about the prophecy, whether it's got to do with Nigeria or some other parts of Africa where he's going to return to. That's what I was referring to, that how the present can be a consequence of the future. If you start believing stuff like that, you start aligning yourself to things that are not going to lead you anywhere. While other people are busy cracking the atom and inventing new ways of learning truths about the universe, you are here chasing their dreams. When they came here, by the time they came here about 400 years ago, they were already having the Enlightenment period in Europe, where they were reasoning, their way of reasoning was changing already. They started discovering the way of ascertaining what was true and what was just belief. There is something deeper than belief. The idea that people believe in heaven. For the Christ, I can't, when I discovered this, I was like, my goodness, how can human beings come to this world and die and believe in something that they don't even know whether it exists at all? No evidence, no proof, nothing. That is the biggest con of all time I've ever seen. But that is that. I will leave it for people that believe in those things. But what they did was they ascertained the truth. When they came here, they didn't teach us that. They gave us the one they've already jettisoned. The ones that the knowledge that enabled them to use the weapons that they used, build all the advanced technology that they built. Now they are even going to space, developing all kinds of stuff with that tool. They didn't give that one to us. I think there was a professor that came here months ago, or maybe even up to a year ago. He asked a question: who will ever give you what is powerful? If the religion was so powerful, why would they give it to you? They didn't give you what they know. They are imprisoning your mind. That's why they give it to you. You have to look at what is happening now, because if you put yourself in the shoes of the first man or the first human being on the face of this earth, what was the most essential thing in this world when you are brought into this world? Because that is what it comes down to. Nobody knows where we came from and nobody knows where we are going. But the most essential thing you have to do in this world is learn how to ascertain what is true. That is the only thing that matters most. And the reason why they have excelled too much, because they developed a way of ascertaining what is true better than we have. And we are still chasing the old one. Personally, I'm not going to say people should just go back to the old religion and all the rest of it. I'm going to figure out how you can excel in this century and into the future, because you are not existing on your own. You are competing with the rest of the world. And if you look at the way the Chinese did it too, they didn't just go back wholeheartedly and start going to Shintoism and all the rest. No, they took it that, okay, they didn't even care about religion anymore. They moved forward. The Europeans, they are moving forward. They are not looking at religion now. They have found other ways of ascertaining what is true. That is at the core of our very existence itself. So personally, if you want to debate whether religion is good or whether religion is not good, it has its benefits when it was relevant, but I don't think it's relevant anymore. We have to develop new ways of thinking and ascertaining what is true, because there's something about this life that I've discovered is that if you know how to ascertain what is true, it rewards you. Why? It gives you a lot of power to do those things, because that is why I can be able to talk to you over the internet, because somebody decided that, you know what, I'm going to ascertain what is true. Another person ascertain what is true. They all put it together and they are able to create what looks like magic today. That's all I can say. I will leave it at that. I don't have any bigger point to make. Thank you.
All right. What I was trying to look for, is it like as if God knew that this was going to be a discussion that we were having today? Right in the church that I went to today, they are talking about basic forms of reasoning. In fact, if you know the latest Elon Musk's Gakko, is it Gakko that they call it, that AI? A scientist was interrogating with that AI and asked some of the very pertinent questions of what we are talking about today. I was trying to get it, but I can't download it. So what I'm going to do is I will get it and I'll put it in the panel for the moderator. So you can go also look at the logic of the reasoning of the most sophisticated AI right now, as they say, on Earth. What it says and what we are talking about here.
Sorry,
See,
KJ, sorry. What AI gives us is knowledge provided by human. AI doesn't have its own knowledge.
No, hold on,
hold on. It goes
hold on. No be on news. I be this thing now. Hold on, let me talk. The AI that has just been introduced, according to them, I'm not a scientist, according to them, is the most advanced. Is the most advanced.
Because he gets information from sources. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't get information from God. And that's where you're going now.
Listen,
supernatural. No, it gets the information from humans.
Now, wow. Is it what we call? Let's have an open mind, because you see.
How can you? I mean, or if you want to deceive me like they deceive my fathers.
You know something. Let me tell you what some of my friends who have become professors 2 days ago, they told me. I was congratulating them, and I said to them, "Don't leave me behind. All of them will be professors now." They laughed. You know what he told me? He said, "Look, the simple fact that is just that we were able to identify an area which we only put up an argument. It's not because it's something new. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, they only put up an argument. Now, whether you like it or not, there may be a machine out there who is able to analyze things critically. Just like you say, it was I'm coming. I took a note out of it. Let me just read a portion of it. It says, it is strict logic, mathematical skills, and what? And reasoning. That's what he specializes in. And the guy who was talking to this AI is a professor on this area, and he was able to lay out his question and telling the machine, I don't want you to give me, because according to them, it depends on what the machine thinks that you know, that you respond. Because after that, he said to the machine, do you think, he asked another very interesting question, and he answered just like he would answer any other person in the street. But they're saying that because he knows that this man knows, and the man was able to block out him trying to lie to him or give him a vague answer, he was able to extract the best out of that answer. What am I trying to say in essence? Knowledge it doesn't domicile in any one person. Okay, so let us go back to our discussion. The question is, if you don't believe in God, how come you believe that the bottle of Coca-Cola that you are drinking is real and it's Coca-Cola that you have inside? You enter the shop, you get it out, you pop it and pour it into your mouth. You don't think it's poison? If you can put
based on reason, based on having it repeatedly, is that not common sense?
Okay, but Coca-Cola and this Christianity, which one is older, having done repeatedly?
No, because the one you are saying having done repeatedly, there's not one proof of it.
How can
it's
you
just based on belief? The belief in Coke is based on reason. Because you've had Coke before,
Evidence, based on evidence.
Based on evidence. The other one doesn't have one evidence. That's the problem. Nobody has gone to heaven and come back here and tell us, let me hold your hand and take you to heaven and come back.
Let's
KJ, I believe in God, but you and the guests, you don't do any good service explaining to people. You know what you are talking abstract. You know, things people cannot understand, people cannot grasp. That's what the way you people are presenting this issue.
Listen, my brother, I'm not here. I will try and moderate, because except I want to change position with Rudolph, because right now you're getting me into the discussion. I don't want to be. I'm only trying to put in such a way we can understand. But since it's becoming difficult, let me go to Bumi. Bumi, you're welcome, and let's hear your view, because you must have a serious view to come in.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I actually came in for you, Mr. KJ.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Look at you, Miko.
Now, you made a comment during the other show, and the show was basically, you made a comment saying that we are not appreciating the good things that religion has done in Nigeria. And then I think someone asked, but we were existing or we're fine before religion came. I think it was Mr. Okija. And when you said that, that really brought me to some of the arguments that we tend to make. And I think you're also part of those arguments in terms of, you know, having a Eastern region for it to become its own state. The arguments of people who make those about one Nigeria right now is that, oh, if we're to break apart, you know, the Eastern region is not going to survive. But one of the comments I know you've probably made sometime is that, but they were succeeding before. They were fine as a nation before. So why don't you want to let them be right now? So I wanted to ask you that if you can make that statement in regards to religion, when the Christianity wasn't, or the present day Christianity wasn't the way it is right now, and you're saying, oh, if we were to go back, things were not working. If you can make that argument for Christianity, why can't you make that same argument for the division of the country and Nigeria staying together? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Are you saying that why don't I make the same this comment that we should go back?
It's simple. If way back Christianity was okay, how come the older days Igbo was not okay or something like that? That's what
No,
you're saying.
okay, my dear Dr. Bumi, I have not said that Christianity is okay. Remember, if those of you who have listened to me here, I've said that the church has been used as a hoodwinking tool. You know, it's not everybody. I mean, it's just like going to the market. You go there, you buy some things. Some people deceive you sometimes, and you buy something that is not right. Does it mean that the whole market women are selling fake? No. So you go to the market, you buy what you want. You make sure what you are buying is the right thing. It is for you. Listen, the Venerable quoted a scripture, which is I like very much. He said, "Be like the Berean Christians." When Paul finished speaking to the Berean Christians, they go back to their houses, they bring out their Bible, they check whatever Paul has spoken to be sure that what he's saying is correct. And that's what God has called us to do. He says, study to show yourself approved. He didn't say, come and listen to KJ talking.
Sorry, KJ, I'm not trying to always interrupt you, please, but I just want to be correcting things. The Berean Christians, they didn't have Bible. They didn't have Bible.
I thought about that, but it's all right.
You are wrong. You are wrong, sir.
The Bible was written.
You are wrong.
Years.
Hold on. Let me put you correct. You see, sometimes you look.
You're talking about Bible. You're talking about moderator,
but I'm coming. Hold on. When Christ went into the synagogue, what did he read? It's not the scroll.
The Torah.
What's the Torah?
Torah is
scribes put together. Scribes put together.
When you talk about the Bible, you talk about that Old Testament and New Testament. That's the Bible.
My brother, you are just being a bit, okay, maybe the nomenclature is confusing, but here is it. The scriptures have never been together. It is based on scrolls in different forms. And when he got into the synagogue, he took the book of and opened it and said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and this before you now. Those are scrolls that are kept. It is that collection of those scrolls that are put together, and I will now call them Bible. Did they
KJ, please, I want to ask one question. Sorry, that scroll that he wrote, that he read. Sorry, yeah. Which book was it? Which chapter? Which book? And which verse? Which chapter was it? That the one he read.
Isaiah 66. This book of the Lord. That's 66. That's what he read from.
Baba, you do well. I hear you well, though.
KJ.
I don't know.
KJ, can I ask you a question?
Hold on. Let me answer Bumi's question. Very important. And I've said on this thing many times. In fact, I think on discussion with Rudolph or so, and with this program, I said, I used to have an uncle, he's late now, who used to tell me that he used to refer to Igbos as Ndibo. Okay, he tells me that we were here before at the rising sun, and I used to laugh about it. So the Igbos have always had their tradition woven into, or their religion, their tradition woven into their religion. Majority of what they practice is in Leviticus. If you go to the book of Leviticus, you think you are reading about the Igbo history, because what is written there is what they do. The shifting cultivation, the inheritance of the first son, and all that. What you should do in just the way it is in there. At least from my own locality of Igbo land.
But that is practically what happens in our region too. Everybody's region, this Nigeria area region. Practically what happens there.
Are you sure?
Yes, very the same thing now.
Yes, it's
the same thing.
Okay, so can I ask you a question now? What happens in your region?
Yeah, KJ. You know, sometimes
hold on. Let's settle this one now. Forefathers say something happens in their region. Forefathers tell us what happens in your region.
No, I know about the first sons inheriting cultivation. They tend to inherit the father's stuff and this in property, and circumcision is not only unique to Igbo people in Nigeria. So what he described is basically African culture by and large.
Exactly, his region, his area.
You're making a mistake, you see. But anyway, let's move ahead. Demex, what's your own cross? Because let us also hear
No,
it.
no, it's me, Chris. I want to ask you a question.
Please go ahead. I'm not a guest. I'm a moderator. You are leaving him to ask me a question.
No, the reason I'm asking you a question is because
you have to do this thing very well, because you are spending a lot of time and you're missing everybody. You know, Ochi hasn't spoken, I haven't spoken, and he wanted to go to Mr. DMX. That's very unfortunate.
Okay, sorry.
You're not really looking at, you're not welcoming us in. I give you 2 out of 10 for moderation so far.
Okay, you can even give me 0, but don't let Rudolph take my salary. I beg. All right. Go ahead and ask the question so I can come back to those.
So
Jaguar just recommend that you should be fired.
So the question I was gonna ask you is this: when you are talking about Jesus Christ, there's some people that actually question the concept of Christ, and you are talking about it, reading the book, and because the reason I'm asking is simple, because when you are talking about the Bible, and then it's basically written by a human being, and then the concept of Christ is always questioned. So, and you are talking about saying that he was reading the Torah or the Bible or the scripture. So why is it that you always want to use the Bible to justify the Bible?
Okay, thank you so much.
Can I help you with that question? Since you've been talking, let me have a go.
Okay, go.
Now, Chris, you see the reason why it's sometimes said that Christianity is not a religion is of all the religions in the world, there's something quite special, distinct about Christianity. It's not a philosophy, right? And it's not a theory, it's not theoretical. It's something you experience. Now, because for believers, really, it's a matter of personal experience. And even in the gospel, it's quite clear there that like when Paul is writing, it talks about the power of the resurrection. This is something you experience. It's a reality. It's not because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make a logical sense. The account of the birth of Christ, God becoming man and dying and resurrecting. So really, if you want to approach it in a kind of with our logical sense, philosophical understanding, it wouldn't make sense. So really, you have to, if you want to, because look, the existential questions we're dealing with. Forefathers, for example, talked about, considering it folly for people to believe that they're going to go to heaven. Well, I would ask him, so when you die, if you have thought about it, or if you think where are you going? Or are you not going to die someday? So do you have an answer to that?
I'm humble enough to know that I don't know.
Okay, you don't know, right? So
guessing
you don't
is
know.
very arrogant and dangerous.
No, it's not. Don't call it arrogance. People that believe they're going somewhere, and they're convinced. They feel it, they know it experientially. Who are you to say that they're foolish? They don't know what they're talking about, or they don't have any.
All they've experienced is the mysterious existence that they exist in right now. That is all they've experienced. All they have experienced is the mysterious experience that they are currently experiencing right now. They don't know anything beyond that.
But you see, they have faith and belief. Okay, that is and then of course
faith
that
and belief has no proof. I can believe anything I want. I can believe I'm Prince Charles. I can believe I'm Trump. Does that make it real?
No, sorry.
This is a form of madness. If you think about it. It's a form of madness. You can't just believe stuff without evidence in this life. That is what life has told us repeatedly.
Their evidence is the Christ resurrection, okay? And so that is
there's no evidence of that too.
There's no evidence to that, okay?
You just believe. You just believe. That's all it is. There's no real evidence of anything.
But I mean, for the believers, the Christians, they believe in it.
No,
I mean,
no. You don't have to go
real
far.
Christians that believe in it,
Evidence.
and they believe in the power of the resurrection. It's something they know and they experience, and they see it in action, working. Okay.
If they
So,
truly know it, then you can show it to us now. Show us the proof.
It's not me showing you. But for example, that we have miracles, things happening, things that you cannot explain by naturally.
So if you cannot explain it, I don't tell you that you don't know.
Can I come in quick? Can I come in quickly? Can I come in quickly?
Why be arrogant to describe something you don't even know? You ascribe meaning to it.
Hold on, forefather. Hold on. Jagun, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I've actually been watching the show from the guest and everybody. I thought the guest himself was quite bullish as an individual. And I, like KJ, think he knows what he's talking about in the point of the fact that he is claiming religiosity or not, maybe, in terms of the fact he calls himself a Christian, but he knows that the work of somebody who is entering Christianhood, let me put it that way, is going to be challenged if you're doing it for real, for real. And within his own challenges, he stands strong, whether I believe in what he's saying or not. I saw that in him. I would like to personally come from the point of, I challenge everybody, firstly, if they're a believer in anything, and do they believe that there is God? Because it seems that we're having an argument with each other about something that only maybe intellectually is between ourselves. In true terms, it's between you and your God, you and your maker, or you and your disbelief or belief, as it may be. It's not an argument between me and you, what I believe or what I hold dear, or what each of us would hold dear in our heart. So sometimes the way we argue, we hearing from brother OVA, in the way he spoke with the guy, I found that quite unfortunate, to be frank, and a bit disrespectful from his point of view. Not to lay blame on him. I can hear where he's coming from, but I still feel that it's unfounded that one man can speak to another man about what he should do, to say to him that he should stop it, when he actually, OVA, because of his pidgin English, he didn't pick up the nuances of what was said in English. What was said by him was not what he took on for his apology. He was apologizing largely for some of the myriad of strangeness that has gone on within the churches, Catholic and whatever that they are, rather than him telling him sorry for saying sorry. That's not, it was just weak, and how he put it forward was too aggressive for what it was, in my view. So I'm putting to us that this discussion it's a serious one. It's not one for us to find sides. Oh, I'm on this person's side, I'm on that person's side. Many things that KJ says, I believe in terms of his walk with Christ. Many things KJ says, I don't countenance for an iota, because I think it's best for the toilet. So it doesn't matter how we are as individuals. All we can do is truly express our experience with the truth. That's all we can do. Expect it any more from any other person, I think you're being obtuse to ask anybody else to believe in the God that you don't believe. I think that's obtuse. All in this world, and we are all in this world, men and women, and we all have an ocean of history to experience. And mystery you have to come across. My religion, when I was 21, I discovered it's about myself. I said, so, you are because everybody's religion is hypocritical. And I started from that point in terms of my search, my personal search, knowing that me, I can bounce on any side. I can argue from any point of view. What is true? Who am I? What is my relationship with this world? How did I enter this world? Why do I have memory of things before I was born? Now, this is peculiar to me, maybe. Maybe none of you have this kind of human effect. If you do have the kind of human effect that is rather strange and peculiar to you, then for you to look at somebody else, another human being, and start castigating nonsense, I find it tragic. It means that we're lying to ourselves about the human experience. And for that, I think we need to grow up in terms of such a discussion as this. We're talking about our lives. We're talking about our lives, we're talking about the fact that from our loins come our children. We're talking about the magnificence of the world that we're living in. And you want to belittle it with, bro, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's, if we're saying that we are trying to educate people, then if that's the truth, you educate people with the truth of your experience in this life. And if you are relating to God, our Father, if you are relating to that aspect at all, then you have to be a witness. It is for you to be a witness. And let us know your personal experience. That is what it is. Not for one first person to be uncovering himself and say, this is the truth about me. I'm naked in front of you all. And then everybody else will be shielding themselves that they are well clothed. And I'm the freak of the week because I'm naked. The truth of nakedness. I'll leave it there and let people continue.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, Dr. Damages have woken up now. So
No, I want to say something and then I have to leave. I'm pulling a pansat for you guys.
No, doctor, don't leave yet. I want to ask my question. I think
okay. But I just wanted to say something. There's something that our forefathers made reference to. I think sometimes we don't look at the system, what happened in other places and how it's going to impact us. Or maybe we're afraid. So there's this period in Europe they call the Enlightenment. That was the period that they actually started demanding for empirical proof of things. You know, people, they were just like us, superstitious. Nobody is called to prove anything. Even where I come from, my village, there was somebody who was claimed that the man could disappear, the man could go, travel without any means. You know, if you're going to Onisha, he will just meet you there, you know. Nobody ever asked him, how did you do this? Where is the proof? Well, you know, nobody. Did you write it down? Can you teach it to somebody else? And I think we're still afraid of that. And that was what happened in Western Europe. At a point, they decided that, okay, all these things they are telling us, we want proof. If you say something, prove it. And the people that fought them, remember, the church was just behind the fight to stop the advancement of science and this new ideology of proving things before people should believe it. We think that we can survive as a species. You know, if you look at it, we miss the industrial age. This is the information age. It's difficult for, I'm looking at what's going on in Africa. We have phones in our hands. We don't have land phones. We have companies that can't produce anything, basic machinery. I don't know how we can survive without going back to the fundamentals. So one of the fundamentals in thoughts and ideas is this issue of empirical proof. I met a doctor and I was telling the doctor about some mysterious things that happened in my village. He kept asking me, were you there? Which one did you see? You know, and I have so many of those stories. And I couldn't tell him I saw any of those things, but you tend to believe it. That's what they've been telling you since you were born. So these days, when I hear a story, I want to know why. I ask questions. So let me give you one last example and I have to go. So one man, I wrote about this in my book. One man died in my hometown, really my neighbor. And they went to the morgue to pick him up. And the body that they were given to take home wasn't his body. And somebody found out, one of my brothers said, this is not the man we came to pick up. And the morgue owner started saying, oh, the man has been giving us problems since you guys brought him here. At night, he started making noise. He must have changed. So at the end, they didn't bury the man because they didn't find the body. Our own assessment from here was that somebody else took the man and buried the man and they gave them the wrong person. So at night, people started reporting that the man will come to them and say, find my body or else I will deal with you guys. Find my body or else. So when we heard about it here, one of my cousins who had clear mind said to them, next time the man comes, ask him, where is your body? We want to go and get you. And that was the last time the man came to any of them. All right, I gotta go. See you guys.
No, but Doctor, hold on. Well, talking about proof, yeah. Hold on, talking about proof, yeah. The local one or the most common one I think you must have seen is Rainmaker.
Oh, that one is scientific. So I can tell you that because I have a neighbor who did that. I didn't understand it then. I understand it now.
Okay.
So that one is scientific. It's
my grandfather, I'm a rainmaker too. My grandfather was a rainmaker.
What is science?
So,
what is science?
It's seeding. It's seeding. You use leaf. You use. You know, once the leaf, you know, there's like you build a hut, a small hut, and opening. When you the leaves, when you burn it, you know the smoke. So it's it seeds the sky. The rain will start falling.
So some of the things that
no, not Rainmaker. Hold on. What about the rain? The one that pushes rain, allows rain not to fall and push rain elsewhere else.
No, that's
the one that stops rain from falling in an event.
So the challenge I'm giving to, and I meet some researchers here, African researchers. When I meet them, I say to them, have we looked at what our foreparents were doing? Like diabetes. I went to a conference where they're talking about diabetes. I said to this professor of diabetes, it's my friend, I said, what were we doing before this insulin and all this new medication that we are being given now? What were we doing? Have you studied it? And because there may be something that they were doing that it may not be perfect, just like some of the medication we make with leaves and tree parts. No, it may not be perfect, but there's an ingredient there that is active that was helping them for thousands of years or maybe hundreds of years. So you should go back and find that active ingredient and maybe use it, modernize it, make it better, and then it will be our own answer to all these things instead of depending solely on what they bring to us.
Moringa.
What you are saying, I don't know. I've not studied rainmaking, but I know that there might be some. I know about how to make the rain. I don't know about stopping the rain.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. But there has to be something else. This one has a answer to that. There should be an answer. But someone has to.
All right.
All
right. Thank you, Rudolph. Now, here's what I want to say. Just like Rudolph said, in my community, I was in the community that time when this happened. They had gone to, there's a very big orgy tree. Orgy tree, you know what an orgy is? Iroko tree. I have been standing there for years. Eventually, they thought the people who had the land thought they should bring it down so they can use the land. And they've got these guys who cut trees. And they went there and they cut the tree. As soon as they cut the tree down, the tree stood up back. Okay, they cut it down, the tree. So they said, okay, cut it down, cut the branches, cut this thing so that it will become like a stump. Cut it. When they cut it down, they cut out, the thing came back on its own and stood. Everybody ran away. In fact, I wasn't there, so they called me to come and go and see. All those people who went there to go and pack the firewood returned it quickly. They all returned it back to the place. I don't know whether the tree is planted or not. But
Frankenstein tree.
Yes, and I know of another guy who passed, and they went to bury him. But every day he was coming back to his house. Every day he was coming back to the house, disturbing everybody in the house. These are stories, and because I was used into making documentary, I've heard. Look, there's some documentary I've made, and I sent it to our headquarters here in the US, and they will edit those parts out because they don't believe it. I give an example. Went to Abeokuta and shot a story of a miracle. Okay. Concerning a guy whose egg fell out from his nail. He was crippled until the pastor went there and was praying. And whilst he was praying for this guy in a crusade, the guy all of a sudden jumped up and this egg fell out of the nail. We did this story. And when
Where is the nail? Where is the nail, bro?
I'm coming. We did this story, and I have several of them. I'm not talking. It's not a story. I'm talking several of such stories. The U.S. office will not accept it. They say they don't have any way to explain it to their people because how do you say that an egg came out of somebody's leg? How? But you and I know that we are not dealing on the same level. We are not dealing on the same level, okay? And so the difference of what goes on there is totally different. But I just want to say, forefather said something, and that's where I'm going. There is a historical evidence to prove that someone called Jesus Christ lived. It's just like when scientists come and say, Joshua commanded the sun to stop. And till today, go and check. There is a missing time in the sun. These are things that you can verify.
Seriously?
Yes, go and verify.
That is qualified evidence. Where is it
Hey,
from?
KJ,
Where is
wow,
the clock that was
KJ,
used?
we are not
Where
from
is
the
the
village,
testimony
you know.
of?
Some of us are scientists, you know. Come on, stop telling
See,
us.
Okay.
do you know that
Hold
in
on,
court,
hold on,
human
hold on.
testimony is one of the most unreliable in
Yeah,
court?
we are not from your village,
Hold on.
bro.
What kind of testimony do you want? Who would you
I
want
don't
a testimony
understand.
from?
You just
No,
talk. You
because
have
people just
testimony
told
of
you
the
something.
on
Somebody
this,
just
but
tell
you
you
don't
something and you
want the
believe it.
one.
No,
Hold
no,
on.
not like that. Not like that,
Hold on.
forefather.
I'm
Forefather,
saying that.
wait, if I can, really
Tell us
quickly,
the
sorry.
missing time.
Now, wow. Go ahead, Jagu.
Thank you. I know there are people to speak, and please, because I myself am interested to hear from those who haven't spoken. But I keep wanting to reiterate, forefather, it is too easy for you to sit down where you are, not reveal yourself, but tell people that how can you believe X, Y, and Z from X, Y, and Z? Do you know that human beings are much more gullible than they are? What's the term? Pessimistic. Not pessimistic. When you don't really want to believe.
Skeptical.
Optimistic.
Yes, you can say skeptical. Down that road, we are much more gullible as human beings, no matter how sharp we are. And me as a salesperson, throughout my life, I've used my mouth only to speak to somebody, and upon what I've said, they've gone to action it because they have power to action it just by word. That happens every day. It happens, my brother, because human beings aren't supposed to lie. That's why it happens. We are not supposed to lie. So as human beings, if you know this or not, we are triggered to listen to what people say and act upon it. But
This is
because,
why they believe
wait, let me land so you understand. But because there is such as evil in this world, it is something that I can do as to use my tongue, God-given tongue, to lie and to mislead and to cajole and to manipulate. The fact that there is such power within man, isn't that objective enough to understand that there is power in the world? And when there is power in the world and there is power in word, remember that's what the word in itself. We know that there is power in words. So when we have this power, do we owe that to ourselves? Really and truly, is our pride so much that we will owe this sense of communication to our very self? Is this self evaluation something that you do at all before you say, you believe him? Before you say such a thing, did you ever look in the mirror about what happens to you personally on an ideological, on a spiritual front that is particular to you? Me being a human being, I know the answer to that question already. But you being who you are looking for things that you can't prove. You are looking for somebody else to do the work. You are thinking that let somebody else be more of a human being and go through this mad experience that I don't believe in. But apart from maybe the fact that I don't believe in, maybe I'm afraid to go through this experience of life. Maybe I would only look at life through the point of view of a voyeur and see what happens to everybody else, rather than experiencing it myself.
Okay, thank you, Jagun. I will come to Bumi. Then after Bumi, we'll go to DMX and then to Doxa, then to OBE. Bumi, do you believe there's juju?
I thought I was supposed to respond to something he was
No,
saying.
hold on, sir. We're coming to you, please.
Where's that young lady?
Yeah, Bumi, can you go ahead, Dr. Bumi?
No, not Bumi. Even though she's a young lady, there was another bald-headed young lady.
Okay,
there's no young lady here.
Really?
Other young lady, I mean. Yeah.
Bumi, do you believe in juju? Do you believe there's an existence of juju? Juju.
Okay, so obviously I'm not the most religious person, but I wouldn't also deny some form of supernatural power, whether it's juju, whether it's God, or whatever you want to call it. There is something out there. Like forefathers said, we don't 100% know. So because we don't know, we can't 100% say we also know that something is true or not true. So I'll leave that space for that. But I think where the problem is just like Mr. Jago mentioned, I think the problem is our ability to just easily accept everything. Because you don't know doesn't mean you need to accept everything everyone says. Because someone says, okay, Jesus existed in whatever year, you have to believe it. And they're telling you, oh, trust me, it's based on experience, feelings. We as people too need to also give room for the ability to fact check things, and I think that's where the problem is that when people say, oh, they're Christians, they force this belief or this feeling. Okay, fine, I have felt this feeling of God. But understand, there are also millions of other people who have not felt that feeling. But then you're imposing that feeling as fact and true. When it's not fact and true, it might be fact and true for you, but for other million people, it's not fact. And I think that's the real problem. Because you have felt something, you now believe that it's fact and everyone has to accept it. It's not fact. It's just for yourself. And I think that's what, going back to what Ovie said in terms of that man saying that he's sorry. The guest clearly stated that he's sorry for what the church has done. And then Ovie said, fine, I'm not going to eat your sorry. Like, sorry does absolutely nothing. Your action does. And in ways for you to show me that you're truly sorry is by stop planting churches. That's a form for you to show that you're actually sorry about your actions. So it's like an example, but people, it's like, but no one wants to believe that. And people are, Jesus existed, we should believe it, or no, I'm sorry. And it's just a cycle of us not knowing. It's just a cycle of us not knowing what is fact, but then we also don't want to go ahead and prove things for ourselves, but then we want to believe. Because Mr. KJ also mentioned how we should also translate the Bible for ourselves, but then you're also justifying everything the church has done, then giving no room for us to also go ahead and exploit whether or not they were right or wrong in terms of their coming into Africa and everything they brought towards us. I think there's a lot of contradiction and also a lot of gullibleness in terms of our belief towards Christ. I think that's the biggest problem, our belief towards Christ and how gullible we are.
And I thank you for that. Okay, I'm coming to support diaspora voting. But if you are a true believer, you find out that the Bible also mentioned particular in dates and time in history that these events occurred. Like in the case of Jesus, it mentioned when Agapos was in power, at the time of this, at the time of that. These are things you can trace easily. It's not written outside of our world.
So can you then trace? Can you then trace where the bread and the fish miracle? Can you trace that? Because that is clearly stated in the Bible. Because if we should believe everything the Bible says, can you please prove the fish and the bread experience?
If you want me to, I will give you the exact place and exact part where it was taken. Now,
you have to prove that. Like, let's actually see that with ourselves in terms of how Jesus made his miracle and he fed, is it 3,000 men or how many thousand people
5,000,
with just 5 pieces of bread?
What do I prove?
That's proof, because what you're doing, you're talking about history in terms of location.
Sometimes we forget something, that the Bible is not only a religious book, it's also a historic book, and you can look through these things it is easy to find. For instance, a forefather asked me here that they don't have any historical account. All I need to do was just get into the system, and I can see more than 10 of them of different historical accounts of what happened and how it was told. Some of them will even go ahead to tell you this is from this account. They will tell you this is from this account and that's from this account. Not that I didn't know these things, but just for the purpose of those who think that this Jesus is a mystic figure that never existed, But you see, the thing,
what I asked was for evidence. If people saying stuff is not necessarily evidence. I know things that I've done in this life where people will go on and say something else. People are prone to errors.
Let me ask a question. If the killing of twins was stopped in Nigeria by one Mary Celeste, right? How many of you have
some sections of Nigeria, not the entire Nigeria, by the way. Not all Nigeria was killing twins.
I said Calabar.
Okay, Mary Celeste. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have an evidence of that?
Yes, because she exists historically. If you go to the documentation now, you can track back to see where her document shows that
I just told you that you can track back Jesus, and you don't believe that. But you can.
No, but you can't. That's the funny thing. You can't. You can track back the Roman emperor, but you can't track back Jesus. You can't track Jesus back. That's the difference.
You are making a mistake, forefather. I go back to your history. You find out that those people who were mentioned in those accounts, they existed at a particular time in Rome, and they themselves gives you an account of what happened.
Okay, let's say Christians existed. Do you know that? Sorry. Do you know that Mormons believe all kinds of things today? Scientology believe all kinds of things today that don't have one proof for. Just because they existed before doesn't mean what they were saying was true, or they had evidence for whatever they were saying.
In this case, I can't help you because you are believing one thing when it has to do when it is not. This is the same problem I have with
I'm not saying Christians didn't exist.
Believe that
whatever is true,
and whatever the other side is saying is not true.
I never said they didn't exist. The Christians never existed. I said whether their belief was true. That is the key. Because there are Mormons today, there are Scientologists today, there are all kinds of religions today that can make any claim they like.
Forefather, does a man called Gamaliel exist in the history of Israel who was a teacher of the law? You see, so you don't know what you're even arguing.
It's not about their existence. It's about evidence of what they are saying.
You are making a mistake because these people existed and their interaction with Christ was there and their interaction with the disciples were there. See, so what are you saying? I'm telling people who interacted with them, you can't
claim they are making. Let me tell you. Claim they are making. To say JJ, to say a human being exists is a smaller claim than to say that human being resurrected from death, because that is not usual behavior.
You see, you keep making.
And if you want to make such a claim, you have to provide substantial evidence to substantiate such a claim.
Let me ask something, forefather. If you even have a belief in the Bible, if you open the Bible, Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, what did he say?
There was the creation of the world. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not exactly
I've been arguing with somebody who doesn't even know.
No. Are you telling what do I care? The point I'm making still stands. You don't have any evidence of what you are saying.
What I'm trying to tell you is that God. Hold on. God never tried to prove to you his existence. It's either you take it or you leave it.
I know there's a creator, all right.
Okay. Because if you open
that one, there's evidence of a creator.
In the beginning, God. He didn't tell you where God came from. He said, in the beginning, God created. He didn't say God had existed.
See. I'm not arguing that one. There's evidence of a creator.
If you one mindset, come to understand it. If you don't have that mindset, you cannot understand it because it's too difficult for you to understand.
There is evidence of a creator. There's evidence of human beings. To say one human being exists in history or they say that it's a creator, it's not called a controversial point. But to say a human being rose from after being diseased, that is the one that you require evidence because it's not usual. It's
I don't even need to go. I don't even need to go far. You see, I don't want to drag any man of God to this thing, but in your time, hold on. In our time, people have been dying and waking up and saying what they need to do. Let's move on.
Wait, Mr. KJ, before you move on, I'm just going to say one thing and I will leave. Okay, someone made a good example in the comment section saying that, thousands of people died for this whole religion, okay, which is true, fine. But there are also thousands of people who died, or millions of people who died for, Orisha or any of our traditional belief. Can any of you prove those people actually exist, yes or no? Can you prove that, Olodumare exists? All of these things. Can you actually prove that the Greek god exists? All of those things. Can you? But people die. And there are accounts of those people.
Here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll say. There's a documentary we did in 2020. I can't remember 2000 or thereabout. It's called More Than Dreams. Get this caption: More Than Dreams. You can download it on the internet. It's about 25 people. There are about 100 or so, but we chose the 25 most interesting stories of people who have met Christ one-on-one. One of them is a Nigerian. Okay, his story is Muhammad. That's the story of the Muhammad guy. Now you download it and look at it. So when you come to argue, you see, life is very dynamic. Your experience and in the same city and the same house may be totally different from what your neighbor is experiencing. And until you come with
KJ, can you repeat again? You say somebody met Jesus one-on-one.
the documentary is out there. It's called More Than Dreams. Download it. More Than Dreams.
Let him as a human being as what?
Because the documentary is there now, it's believable. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay. Anyway, Bumi has gone anyway because I agree with what Bumi said initially. Yeah, but I also want to say, you see, sometimes really life is funny. You need proof, you need to believe, you need proof, you need to believe. But if 20 people run past you in the space of 30 seconds, tell you they all told you that the lion is coming, will you wait and look for that proof for that lion, or you run with them?
you run with them because it's based on evidence.
What evidence? You haven't seen the lion.
The evidence is that generally when people do those things, it's generally true.
Did you see the lion?
Did you see the lion?
No, you don't have to see the lion. My point is that it's not based on no reasoning. It's based on reason that when people generally tell you that okay, it's raining outside, generally it's true. People generally don't lie to you. That's why
you're right. You're right. I've said that before. In terms of human sensibilities, are more gullible than they are skeptical. So now let's say that that was all framed. The fact that there's no lion and the fact that they're getting people to run in order to manipulate you personally or anybody else.
Yeah, good.
And then
so there's possibility for manipulation on that. Like 20 people run past you, that there's a lion coming. You wouldn't have to wait. You have to run. Even if
I've lived in Barcelona. I've lived in Barcelona.
You do like 20 steps first. Looking at your back.
Yeah.
You do like 20 steps first, still looking at your back to check if lion is really coming.
You pickpockets.
Let me finish, Jago, please. So that is one, yeah. But one thing I wanted to say, please put some spanner in the wheel in this our conversation is this, yeah. KJ, you were talking about Jesus Christ reading the book of Isaiah, blah 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 blah, then whatever, yeah. And what was the language of Jesus Christ as at that time?
What are you going to do? Because we all know that
No. Hold on. It's because you read everywhere. His language, at least you said he was reading something. Obviously, you would have known the kind of you quoted the book he was reading. Then you have most of you have known like the language he was speaking or he was reading in at that time. If you don't know, don't worry, no problem. Fine.
Jesus spoke Arimathea. That's what he spoke, and there's the Bible written in two languages, Greek and Hebrew. So
hold on. That is translation. Hold on, bros. Now cool down. That is translation. That is later. But initial, first before the ab initio is Aramaic, yeah, which is the Arimathea you said, yeah, good. And in that time, do you know what they call God in that Aramaic time? What they refer to as the Creator, Almighty. The name they called Almighty at that time.
I didn't live at that time. I don't know what they call it. What do they call it? Please educate me.
Okay, fine. Okay, the name that they used to refer to the Creator at that time is Allah.
Good, you got it right.
Yeah, Allah. And judging from the fact that the region which he was at that time, the Jesus Christ was at that time, is present-day Middle East, which is the Arabs. Yeah? And if I've asked you, okay, do you believe in Allah? You will tell me no. You don't believe in Allah, you believe in God. And God is, and hold on, let me finish. And God is a German word. Yeah? But the Jesus Christ that you're standing for right now, his language is Aramaic, and what they call God is Allah, which is even close to Allah of the Muslim right now. So because he's Muslim, doesn't mean what they copied or what they inherited from the dead religion at that time, and they accept it as put it in their own religion, doesn't mean everything is wrong about their religion. What I'm saying, that's why I said I want to throw them like spanner in the wheel, so that just because of water. So in a nutshell, saying evidence what happened at that time, standing by everything, sometimes it's culture, because this religion of the thing, what you have to do, whatever, these are culture that people for selfish reasons now turn into religion for control or for whatever reason. I don't understand, maybe believe or whatever, but it came from way of life, way of living, way of belief, and somebody from nowhere just termed the word religion to cause problem. For me, my understanding, to cause problem or for control. Hence, we are having Zionists and jihadists today. But judging from this religion of within, where it came from is the Middle East, and which is part of Africa today, Egypt, Middle East, or whatever. You understand? Then we don't want to like, okay, let's try and decode. Just be decoding till we get to the infinite decoders in way back. Then we just want to come and okay, no, because major population, as a majority leads or majority wins the vote, we just go by what majority is saying. Somebody will tell you the time they wrote the books in the Bible, these books are calling books, is 800 or 300 years after the death of Christ. Do you know the information you get 300 years after? What kind of belief will you get 300 years after the death of Christ that you think is the same as the death of Christ, the period that you died? Even what we believe in when we grew up, we are still in this life. We're no longer believing them again. What we were giving birth to at our young age, we believed it. Now we are even not up to 60 years or 70 years. Our beliefs have changed. Now you are telling me what somebody wrote in book 300 years, as it 300 or 800 years after the death of Christ. You are still holding on to that like it's believable.
Okay, thank you. I'll maybe
who said it's 300 years?
I haven't seen a panel of rebels today.
No, it's okay.
Most people are against your position.
Support diaspora voting.
No. You see, there's something.
Who said it's 300 years?
There's
I thought it's more like 50 years, 60 years after the death of Christ.
So I don't want to even go there, because I feel that's this thing. You see, there's something that the scientists call the laws, the different laws, the laws of this, the laws of that. The law, one of the laws of forgotten the name now, of existence of life, that nothing exists without life. Life must give birth to life. But let's not even go on to that, because it will take me a long time to explain. Let us move on. And Desta, you are next. You have been very calm, so please take your time and tell us what you think so far.
Thank you, KJ, and everybody here. I just want to say, thank God for AI. You can actually check things in real time. So what Support Diaspora Voting was saying is the truth, but it's not the whole truth. Okay, so people can tell truths from perspectives. So in the time of Jesus, God was not only referred to as Allah, okay, he was also referred to as Elah, which is E-L-A-H.
Bros, hold on. Before you move
no,
on,
let him finish. Let him finish.
Wait, Jagu, please, hold on. I want to say something that I said before. When KJ said the books written in Greek and Hebrew, what did I tell? I said, before Greek and Hebrew, the before, which is the Aramaic, the before, you are talking about the Greek and Hebrew, which is later. The Aramaic is old, way older than the Greek and Hebrew. You understand? So it's the later language you are referring to, which is the Ila, Eloha, or Ila.
Sorry. What you have said, Support Diaspora. Look, let me refer you. Let me give you reference so that you guys don't go.
Hebrew is older than Aramaic.
Jagun, let me give you evidence.
I just told him now. It's enough for me.
Yeah. So Support Diaspora. Download DeepSeek
and type the question, which I typed, the prompt. What was the name of God in the time of Jesus? Okay? The first Aramaic is not actually Allah. Aramaic, Allah is actually a Syriac name.
A Syriac.
Yeah, so the Aramaic name of God was Elah, not Allah. Okay, so let's get it right. So that's why I say then the other
name. Hebrew. Is Hebrew.
What? Okay, you did not mention that. You didn't mention that the reference name of God during the time of Jesus was also what you call Yahweh today. Okay, so my point is this: it's very easy to tell stories from a perspective that
Yahweh is Greek,
but you don't tell the full truth about it.
Yahweh is Greek. Sorry,
I'm not okay. I read you. We can agree to disagree. On the part of proof, it's very interesting. Forefathers, most of your points, your arguments are not actually consistent because you seem to be shifting, having like a shifting cultivation tactics. It seems like when your questions are, you kind of want to switch grounds on your questions. You're not actually staying fixed. The points like they made, if you see a lion coming, they tell you a lion is coming, you say you're wrong because you believe it. The thing about belief is that it's just like if I ask you now, do you have a child, forefathers? Do you have a son? Do you have a child?
He will answer you. He will answer you.
Okay.
He will never answer.
It's like if I ask you, do you believe that child is yours? You can't be. You know it's your child. Do you understand? You know it's your child. You don't believe. You only believe things that you can't really.
You believe within reason.
Forefathers, you believe things that
you don't know.
You don't know.
You know. I can clarify the point so you understand what I'm saying.
So it's okay.
When something happens every day, something that you know, that is evidence.
It's okay. It's okay. Christianity, people believing in God has happened for thousands of years, and you still don't believe. So that's okay. It's okay.
Their claim doesn't happen every day, and they don't have any evidence for it. There is a difference.
It's okay.
You cannot understand the concept.
It's okay.
You cannot understand the concept. Instead of you just acting as if you already know what I'm saying.
That is why it's revolutionary. That's why it's like almost like the start of history. Okay.
To make an outstanding claim like that, you have to provide outstanding evidence. When Isaac Newton said that he could split, hold on, sorry, let me just finish my point. When Isaac Newton said he could split the light into the electromagnetic spectrum, when you demand for the evidence today, they will still show you the evidence today because it's something extraordinary. That is something people don't experience every day. But if somebody says somebody wakes up from the dead, you have to demand extraordinary evidence for that.
And I think it has to be an empirical evidence, something you can test in the laboratory. That's the only evidence that makes sense to you.
Yes, it has to make sense. Otherwise, you're groping in the dark.
No. What about this, forefather, as a consideration? Because yes, I hear where you're coming from, but would you say that the splitting of the atom is scientific, whereby resurrection would be more spiritual? And are these two things, in terms of the answers that you would want as proof, would they not vary or be vastly different from each other? I mean, you're not going to get scientific revelation on. Yeah, you're not really going to get that. You might look for it, but that's not really going to come out, is it? It's not an expectation. Is it your expectation to have scientific evidence about the resurrection? Let me ask you that.
Yes.
There's
the reason why is because what is immaterial in terms of something that is not tangible. Even today, they have evidence to an extent of it. Like, let's say in psychology, when people suffer some trauma, they have evidence with consistent behavior, even if you cannot hold madness in your hand itself, because it's immaterial. However,
let me put this. As somebody who studied philosophy, there are two ways. Wait now. Somebody's speaking. The 20th century, 19th century brought out two ways where the Western theology was going to go. Was it, in terms of philosophy and psychology, was it going to go the way of Freud, or was it going to go the way of Swinson? Now, Swinson was very logical, and he didn't speak in terms as Freud spoke. Freud spoke about homosexuality. Freud spoke about having sex with your mother. Freud spoke about the consciousness. Freud spoke about these things. So philosophy took a strain away from practicality in those terms. So over the last 19th and 20th, and now we're in the 21st century, the world philosophically has gone the way of Freud. Now that pictures every bit of proof that we have scientifically completely differently from it would have done if we took a different philosophy. I don't know you've accounted for some of these things, because all I need to do to write a paper as a PhD student is to go out into the field and create my material, my understanding, my measures, and place that amongst my peers, and that becomes peer-read philosophical understanding. Whether I'm wrong or right, or the fact that it's already gone out of date by the time I put it on the shelf, is subject to anybody's thinking. It's only that I'm a PhD and I can boast about my PhD level.
So when you mention spiritual, the moment you put the word spiritual,
this is why we have to take out. No, you see, the question.
Why you are referring.
All I'm putting to you, forefather.
Speaking. Let me just say what I need to say.
Okay.
When you mention the term spiritual, you've already gone into the area of unknown. That's basically what it is. Because anything spiritual is unknown. You can't measure it, you can't detect it, you can't experiment with it. And by definition, it's basically groping in the dark, because anybody can say anything. Sorry.
No, you haven't advanced. You haven't advanced the argument that you're coming from. You're saying the same thing.
You are the one that said we should.
Wait, let me put this as an advance. You see, I'm asking you to.
Okay.
Wait, Joe, please. This is very important. Please, I'm asking you, forefather, to put yourself in the game. You cannot stand outside of the game. You have to put yourself in. And in putting yourself in, when you are asking some of these questions, you're not fully considering all the ramifications that come before you can answer such a question. So you may think that you're asking something easy question and asking for evidence of such an easy to use thing. And if you haven't got evidence, we're groping in the dark. There are actually scientific ways that spirituality has been measured, where they have seen movement on ghosts, that there is a ghost in this room. Scientifically, they have measured these things scientifically. They have. Forefather, you may not know.
I hear what you are saying.
But they have.
I agree with that. They have been.
It's almost like you want to pretend. It's almost like you want to pretend. Wait. What is to you? It's almost as though you wish to pretend that there is not a world that is close to us by our eyesight. There is not a spiritual world out there. And if you're saying that on such a platform, then I think you're not in this conversation with us either. To be honest,
let me say what I need to say. Let me just say, I'm not disputing or dismissing what you've said. There are areas of study that is not conclusive yet. There is nothing concrete about it. By saying that, it means whatever they've seen, they can't explain it still. There are events in the world that we cannot explain. But it's extremely arrogant to ascribe definitions to things that by definition is inexplicable.
Study of ghosts. Study of ghosts is not science. It's not science. Study of ghosts is not science. It's not scientific at all.
Okay.
The child of arrogance applies more to you
because. Okay, you said that now. Okija, you said it 4 or 5 times.
When it comes to this matter, I think it's difficult to have a final answer, anyways, because it's gonna keep confusing us to the end of the day, basically. But like a man of God said, KJ, you're going to do a lot of work to want to establish the exactly what the Christianity is all about to a situation of diverse reasoning like us here. I want to believe the people that Rudolph bringing here actually watch this program before they show up, because the kind of words they hear at times, it makes them want to do like it made them look like whether they came here to just speak stupidity or something. It's so sad that some of us, we can't even select our words and select the kind of usage of language we use for them. If they don't watch this program before they come up, they're gonna be swept off their feet to see responses, because it's so vast in our reasoning, which is okay, but life goes beyond what we are seeing today. To me, there's no way you can explain spirituality beyond your conviction. or what exactly life is all about. The biology of our creation alone is enough to know that there is a mystic thing somewhere. Basically, like a man of God said, he said, at the end of the day, we now find out that there's no God. And I don't have a regret to. Somebody like me, I don't have a regret to be a Christian. I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't womanize, I didn't give birth to bastard, I didn't drive and got accident because I was drunk. I lived a good life. And actually, there's no Christianity at the end of the day. What have I lost? I lost nothing. The life is good to live it the way it is. You know, whether you are believing or not believing, live a good life. Don't hurt your neighbors. You know, help people that you can help. Be compassionate. Be honest to yourself. Do your job. You got to do. Rest. Have a family. Build a family. Love each other. That is the life we're talking about here. But when you start painting the spiritual, that, you just make life complicated to everybody. Those things are not necessary. At the end of the day, the Christianity is not real. The Muslim thing is not real. Do you have a reason to regret your life that you lived? That's actually where we should go to today. Because there's no amount of empirical formula or empirical truth that we're going to establish for us to be able to say this is the final answer. It's not going to exist in this life that we are in. So this argument is going to continue till the end of the day. We're just speaking grammar here. We're just speaking language.
But there are absolute truths.
At the end of the day, there's no absolute reason for whatever is happening, no absolute solution to it, or absolute correct reasoning. Because it's going to be diverse at the end of the day.
Can I ask you? What you consider to be a life? What are you based it on? What on what do you base your assessment, your understanding of a good life? What you've enumerated so many things, that you won't womanize, you won't smoke, you won't drink, you wouldn't. On what basis are you?
Love your neighbor as yourself. Be honest.
On what basis?
Do what you got to do. Then live a good life. Don't love your neighbor as yourself. Don't hurt people. Don't do what is bad. What your conscience condemns. That is what is called living a good life.
Right? Is it about your conscience?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's move on.
Good life
Let's
is
you
relative.
didn't finish your argument. Sorry, I'm coming back to. We need to make sure that everybody can talk because we are finally rounding up. Dexter, can you make your final argument?
Yes. So the truth about it, I think, is that it all comes down to personal convictions, and everybody is not going to believe. That's the truth for Father. It's not truth is that you are well within your own right. Even everybody here is well within their own rights of believing and not believing. If you even read the Bible, even the Jesus that they claim, people were right there, didn't believe in him. So it's well within our rights, whether we say we don't believe or we believe, whether he existed, he did exist. But don't take it out on the people that believe as if they are foolish people, as if they cannot reason. I think that's one of the things. We must accommodate everybody. People that want to believe, yes, it's their objective reality. It's well, good and fine. They have evidence. The truth about it, there's evidence that Jesus Christ existed. I think the question is people believing the supernatural, whether he did the things he said he did, that is subject to belief. And like we said, belief is something that you really have not seen. You believe something that you don't know about. So, but everybody's within their rights to choose, whether they believe or they don't believe. And you don't have to berate anybody, whether the person believes or whether the person doesn't believe. I think that's the way I live it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Ovie.
Thank you. Well, we will not be spiritual person, but we are blood and flesh. We dey feel am. Now, I said that to say this. I think one issue I have with Christian faithful or followers is that they will talk everything but the history of the Christianity itself. And that's where
Brother Ovie, I do apologize to you, but I need you to say that again. Did you say that you be flesh and blood and not spiritual at all? Is that correct?
So Christians will say,
"Oh, bro, don't ignore me. I mean it seriously. I didn't mean it rudely. I just wanted to understand you. But don't worry."
So the history of actually talking about me being flesh and blood person, waiting I dey feel and be my own spiritual.
I'm talking about what I'm feeling. I am hungry. For me, that's my problem, right now. So that's me. I live. So I'll speak my reality. In the early days of this Christianity that we are talking about, if you go back to the late 9th century, when the Crusaders, anchored by my brother KJ people, the Catholic, led onslaughts pretty much the whole Eurasia in the name of claiming their land where Muslims don't take back, slaughtering human like dog. This phrase that Muslim go say, if you kill in the name of Allah, you go get 7 virgins for heaven. That's a Christianity rhetoric. Read your history. Put Bible aside. It don't exist before they write Bible, right? So go look them. They were slaughtering human beings. You have to accept Christ, that way of life. This is not me spiritual. It's boldly written out there between 10th century to late 13th century. This is their activities. Now, somebody will tell me, thank Bumi, if you are hearing me, your understanding of my conversation with that guest was spiritual, was clear. It was like Holy Ghost spirit, the way you put them. People will say, you cannot tell another man what to do and what not to do. You got them right. But what you don't guarantee is that what I will do to you next, also, you can't tell me what I'll do about it. It to say, our people, maybe they did what the Japanese did. In the early 1400 late to 1600, what they did to the Christian. When they tell them, stop, that you are encroaching, your encroachment into our society is disuniting us. This is not what we want. Stop. They refused to stop. Guess what happened? They drove them underground. They killed them in their thousands. Yes. No man had the right to tell you what not to do. You're right. But whatever happened to you, if you keep repeating it, is all you. That's exactly the message the guests get exactly what I was driving at. And again, I think the ability to understand our guest is very important. What makes our guest tick? He's a pastor. That guy, he understands body nomenclature, body movement, words that are not spoken, your emotions. That's why when pastor talk to you, go to say, I see something about you. I know that. So coming to him, I had to also dramatize my question. Thanks to Dr. Dameji, I learned from him. He's a satirist. So my question was dramatized for a reason, because I know it's going to go low, it's going to go there. When he begins to say, maybe you are going through something, what does my question has to do if I'm going through something or not? I'm talking about our reality. But of course, he's a pastor. He has to go there and explain everything, but go to, maybe he's going through something. That's why I came back. I said, yes, I need to go see my side chick for New York. Can you help me? That's what I'm going through. So everything is, let me finish. So everything is conceptualized. So the what I said is very simple. If somebody say, if I don't say, don't stop apologizing for the sake of apologizing, that's not the point I was making. The point I was making is what Bumi clearly put out. Stop telling me, sorry, so just stop, so that you don't have to do. It's that very simple. See, I cannot tell a man what not to do. Yes, come back to my village next time. Boy, and my ways you go here. You live without legs. Then you go no say. No be just to talk. This is matter of life and death. People were massacred across the continent of Africa just to accept Christ. And we pretend as if, these people are just very spiritual and benevolent. No. When you quit, Bumi was giving an example from the Bible. Go read your book. When they were asking, women were even requesting the Christian, the missionaries then that even in the Bible, women can be polygamous now. They roast them like chicken. You can't question them. This is our history. It's our reality.
All right.
Christian build this, Christian build this.
Thank you
I
so
know
much.
all that. At what
Thank you so much.
expense? No, hold
We need
on.
to move.
They say we give their land.
We're running out of time.
After they don't conquer us, they don't beat us to support. Go, these things fall apart. When Okongo, they complain that these people, our people are not listening to them more than us. Now, after they don't beat us to support, whatever they ask, we have to give.
Okay, we need to move.
Okay, sorry, last point. Only you talk and say civilization starts from Africa, and we are doing well. There was no Jesus Christ at that time during our own civilization. So what is wrong? What went wrong? So that conversation, we should not forget our history. We can garnish how church were being built, benevolence, giving food, giving all that.
We need to move because other people need to make their final thoughts. Thank you. Jabun.
Thank you for allowing me to round up. It was interesting, but I think there were quite a lot of different things in the conversation we were having. I think from my own point of view, the kind of conversation I was having was not really about the pastor and what he had to say, but the complications that we have as human beings and what it is to be a human being, and whether or not we are actually more complex as a people than we give ourselves necessary credit for. I think just looking at my lives and the lives of other people and reading a lot of books, I suppose, on kind of autobiographies about the lives of heroes and people gone before, how difficult their life was. And when anybody's explaining what they're going through in their life, apart from the sacrifices of flesh, the pouring out of blood that they may have within their story, there is also an element of an aura of the individual that I'm speaking to, that lets me know that this is a whole and complex creature in front of me, and he's spilling out his heart, and he's giving me his reckoning, and I'm understanding it. He's communicating with me more than eye to eye or flesh to flesh, almost soul to soul. You know, I'll put it that way. Not wanting to be at all. What's the word? Forgive me. You know, mixed in my language or complicated or anything like that. But when you're dealing with any human being, you know, you don't always understand somebody when you meet them for the first time, and then you get to know them, and you get to know their complexities, you get to know their idiosyncrasies, you get to know who they are. You begin to like them more in terms of you're understanding them that much more. You're giving them grace as they are giving you grace. That's a relationship. And by the time you've entered into a relationship with man or woman, you have entered into, I don't know what to call it, guys. I don't know if you experience life this way, but I put it to you that you're experiencing something more than the flesh and blood. And because of this, I ask us as human beings, if we have this portion that we reckon with within ourselves, do we always have to hide it? Do we not try and, are we not brave enough to expose the fact that we are spirit beings? Are we not able to show someone that level of love in terms of, I contain this is what's in my heart for you, this is what's in my heart for the world? You know, are these not factors that we play with? Is life so tough being a Nigerian that we have left our spirituality, our spirit side?
All right,
and that's more my conversation really, and what I wanted to expand upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, Okija.
Yeah, you didn't let me speak. You know, like it was only when I interjected.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I believe in God. I believe in Christian God personally. But the problem I have with Christianity and people who expound Christianity is that that they don't want to admit that there are some issues with the references they use. One of the things I found out is they try to make it fit. Like when KJ was speaking about the Joshua situation where it was said that he told the sun to stand still, but we know in geography, in other science, the sun cannot stand still. The earth revolves around the sun. So if he had told the earth to stand still, we understand it. But he told the sun to to stand there. That's impossible. So, but Christianity, like somebody like KJ will find a way.
The question is that in history? Can you find that?
So, I don't know. Nobody can prove it happened in history. No, nobody can prove it happened in history. But I'm just talking about the way Christianity, the Christians, we preach, try to make other people, to understand things. You can't just, come, where they have science, people who are smart. You start telling them that they know that this is BS, But the Christian, they don't understand. There's some issues, just like I asked the man. You say that this book is inspired by God. Why don't you see all these things, Because, these people, especially the Old Testament, you see that this is about their culture, about their people. These people, they assume things. They have some of them. They had like crazy men, that came out and said that God said and God said. They're crazy. Just like we have people here that these days they will smoke Igbo and they tell you that God said. So you can't just believe all those things. You just have to go there. Pick things that
respect Igbo, okay?
You just have to go, pick things, like the central message of Jesus Christ. That's, like to me, it was the central message of Jesus Christ. Forgive, people. Treat people as you treat yourself. So you get that, and then you find messages that reflect that. Instead of going and telling me, because if it was any reasonable human being, you look at it from the Genesis to all the way, you will find that this is why this like something is wrong with this religion, something is wrong with this God. I don't know, you, and then again, also the way the pastor was, the priest that came, he was saying something about the man he was talking to, the man that the daughter was begging him, I want you to, that's, she wanted them to meet in the same place in heaven. Not everybody wants to go to heaven. You don't appeal to people to go to heaven. You appeal to people, to live the life of, the kind of life God would want, not just, because of heaven. I found that one of the problems I have Christianity is that people, people tend to believe, they're scared. They don't believe because they believe that. They're just scared. They don't want to go to hell. So whatever you tell them, they believe. That's one of the problems we have in Africa. When you go to church, like at the boy or whatever, we tell people, if you don't pay a tithe, you go to hell. And the people will believe it because they don't want to go to hell. So, so these are my issues, Christianity. I think, that we have to, people who are found, we have to, find a way to teach our people. The focus should be live a good life, just like who said that was this Dexter that said it or something like that. What are the kind of life God wants you to live? Just live that life instead of living a transactional life with God. Oh God, I don't want to go to heaven. So you said I should go to church today. I'm going to church. That's
all right.
That's me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Okija. Now, Okija, Mr. Oti.
Okay, frankly, I think I don't have anything more to say, really. So just okay. let's move on.
Okay. Thank you so much. Dexter, give you 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Chidi. I think the revolving part about all this is that for me, in Africa, Nigeria, we are very religious. But what is the impact? HDI. I think there was a recent argument on Twitter. Somebody asked Grok. What's the most developed region in Nigeria? And when the team listed the most developed regions in Nigeria, the Southeast was considered to be the most developed region in Nigeria.
Okija, mute yourself.
And the lady was shocked. She was like, so why? How can you say we have Lagos, we have Oyo? How can the Southeast be the most developed? And Grok was explaining that it is based on HDI, Human Development Index. The hospitals, the schools, those were the real things that was used for the analysis. So my question is really, as much as you have all these religions, what has been the impact? How has it helped us grow our society? How has it helped us industrialize? How has it helped us to advance with the age of AI that is coming? It is frightening that what we have used religion for, what we have used either Christianity, Islam, whatever. And I think it also comes from the our underbelly, especially in Africa, is very bad in the sense that we had quote Babalawo, all these chief priests, all those guys, they tend to only use their powers for bad things. And so the culture of coming to do good things is very difficult. And don't forget that many of the people that early people that became priests in Nigeria, many of them were converts from all these traditional practices. And historically, these traditional practices, many of them, you can't really tell what was the good. In fact, if you go today and say, okay, Go and look for one traditional practice that it has promoted goodwill, growth. It has promoted development. It's very difficult for you to find. And so
all right.
Interrogate ourselves on that side.
Thank you so much. Thank you for Obe, you have 1 minute.
Just like they told Desta that the Igbo race existed many years ago. So they told me too in Edo that the Benin existed centuries before the Iboma was born. So we will keep hearing the stories here and there, and we don't know what to even believe. Let's get confused more by the situation of what we hear and what we don't hear. The fact is that you will come to this world, you will spend your 50, 70, 80, 90 years, we will die and we will go. After then, we will not be revealed to what happens afterwards. If you are not lucky that Christ will come before then. So it's going to be like a routine thing. In the next 50 years, me and you won't be here talking again. We'll have been done.
50 years.
Straight up. We'll have been done already, straight up. So there will be another set that will keep talking again. They will keep talking. They will talk and talk and talk. They will also go. If you are lucky at the end of the day. But the good thing why I resolve in my mind is that if you like, deceive yourself. Go and sit down in church. Let them be deceiving you that you got your money. You should pay your tithe and let them be flying jet up and down. It is your choice. You continue to do it. You sacrifice your life. Give whatever you want to give and do it your own way. If you don't have sense in your head, go ahead and do. But if you have sense in your head, whenever they tell you, filter it and know exactly which one to take and which one not to take. And be very mature in your mind. But at the end of the day, live at peace with your brother. Let not hurt each other. We will have a good life and we will go.
Thank you so
Final
much.
answer.
Live at peace with your brother. Okay, Jagu, if you can do 1 minute. I'm not coming to your Babylon. I'm not coming to you because I got to take more than 1 minute.
No.
Jagu,
I know. No worry. I will talk something where you could like. I just small thing. 1 minute.
Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
OVA says.
Just 1 minute. Jagu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, 1 minute.
Again, really, I thank you for having this conversation today. I don't know if there's going to be another program afterwards, but I do enjoy these complex reasonings because they are complex, and sometimes obviously we come from all different angles. So it's good to hear where people are coming from. But I would hope that we have the opportunity to expound on such a topic again.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much. Thank you. DMX, you have 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay. Oh,
1
that's
minute.
it. I think okay. We dark-skinned people, yeah. I think we should be conscious of what is happening in the world right now. Yeah. The UK, Canada, US, and other countries are just stepping up their immigration policies and immigration. So, is there something up their sleeve that we don't know? So, I think it's better for us to still open our eyes and try and be in the mix of what is happening, so we don't get left behind. Because the way all these countries are just stepping up their immigration policies and all that, where does live dark-skinned people? So is it something that's going to happen to in the world next that we don't know? So I think we should all come together, regardless of beliefs, tribes, or whatever. That's outside where we come from. We are like one in the eyes of other people. So at least,
all right,
as we look as one, let's look ourselves as one and do the right thing and build ourselves strong.
Thank you so much. That's also OBE's message. Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir.
Just say His Excellency, the Governor of those states. No,
Excellency, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay, now let me put out the conspiracy there that I believe is going to it will become a permutation as we go on politically from home. At the core of the Fulanis and the core Igbo people, there is a fight between the Catholicism in that angle and the Islamic. Is at the core of what is going on now. Another way you have to look at it again. Look at the utterances of Peter Obi, my governor, and his latest publication. Peter Obi is known for bragging how he returns schools to the churches, right? It always means that to be that poor. But what you don't understand, Jay, what is the argument against taking the church schools out of the churches in the first place? That's one thing you need to go expand on. Another one, when Monday Paulo was telling Obi to take permission before he come, he said something, right? That he donates money to nursery school and nurse school and all that. Then I think about yesterday or 3 days ago, there's an headline that came out that said Obi don't spend over 65 million. And they mentioned the schools and the churches. They are trying to tie that resources, not that he is poor, but they are trying to tie that resources that is coming from external and it's along this religious fight. So underneath all these things, that's what it may not surface now, but as we go on, we will hear that conversation.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, gentlemen. All of you have done and given your own ideas, and we appreciate all your ideas. We appreciate your contributions. Bumi is not here. We appreciate your contribution and all of you. Every single one of you have been able to distinguish himself or herself, and we appreciate it. The conversation continues. It's not going to stop. We'll be here next week, and we will continue with the same conversation or something different from what we have been having. And we invite you to also be part of it, because
go backstage. KJ, sorry, is that backstage?
No.
Oh, fuck it. Is Papa that's having another show?
No, I don't know about 4-5 years gone. He may not. Okay. He may not. All right, thank you so much. That is our show for today. We will continue this conversation another time, but just like OBE said, and quite a number of other members of the panel, what God wants from each and every one of us to be a good neighbor, be a good brother, be a good countryman, be a good tribesman. Whatever you need to do, make sure that you are in the good book of humanity. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, people want to remember your good side. Don't leave this earth, and people have to begin to wonder whether you are human enough to have been able to considerate of other people, or you live only for yourself and by yourself and with yourself. You enjoyed only your money for yourself. Make sure you impact your humanity in the area that you find yourself. If you are a Nigerian, make sure that you are able to bring truth to power. Speak what is right. Teach what is right. Do not bring division among people, or because you want to prove that one particular tribe is superior to the other. If we are all good neighbors, we will not have any reason for us to be asking to divide the nation. The reason why we're asking for division is because we have become bad neighbors to one another. And that's the message of Christ. The message of Christ is love. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him will not perish but have an eternal life. That's the crux of the matter. That's the central message that Christ preached. I don't know whether whichever religion you preach, what is central is that love of Christ. It has been divided into many segments, and many people give their own different names. Whatever you call your own, know that at the center of it all is humanity. Is the spirit that is in man that God has divided amongst all of us, that is running within us. It's not the different spirit. It's the same light that we all have. And that's why blood doesn't have there's nowhere on earth that you go to, you find that blood has become water, or water has become blood, or it has a different color. It does not matter whether your skin is white or black or blue or green. You donate blood and it goes to the other person, no matter how different your skin color is from his, the blood works the same way. And so that should teach us a lesson as people who are living at this time. How should we treat our fellow man? How should we behave towards one another? Is there a reason for us to stop and think again and ask ourselves, are we really behaving in such a way that humanity will be propelled forward because of our character and because of our disposition? If you find out at the end of the day of your doing a soul search that you are not being on the side that the history will remember you for good, it is not too late. You can have a change of heart. If you don't believe that it was a Christ, but you believe that there's God, search yourself. Just like the panelist, the Venerable said, go to yourself, your closet, ask yourself sincerely in your heart, or speak out loudly to yourself, is there a God? God, if you exist, prove to me that you exist. God will show up and you will tell us the story. I, for one, have been blessed so much. I've spoken, I've done testimonies over 10,000 people. I repeat, I've done over 10,000 testimonies of people who God have met or who Christ have met one-on-one, people who have received miracles from all kinds of things, all kinds of events, those who are healed from the dead, from sickness, those who rose from the dead, and all that. Those stories are out there. I'll leave you with one. It's called More Than Dreams, just in case you think that these things don't exist. We did a compilation of people who have been able to meet or in dreams or in trance one-on-one with the Lord Jesus Christ and what he told them and how they interacted. People are looking for evidence. The world is full of evidence. As you go to sleep today, you're not sure whether you're going to wake up tomorrow. When you wake up tomorrow, that's an evidence right there before you. You didn't wake yourself up. Neither did you wake up because the day has broken. You woke up because something, a spirit in you woke you up. And so it's always good to see that that's the first miracle happening with you and within you every day, even to this day. And so we thank God for it. Based on that, I will say to all of you, have a wonderful week ahead of you, and may God bless us all. Thank you so very much for being with us. I want to also appreciate all those who have given to us, most especially the guy, what's his name now? Give me 1 minute. Yes, CJ Okonkwo. Thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution to us to have a cup of tea and be able to pay for this broadcast that we're having here. Mind you, so far it is Dr. Rudolph himself that is footing the bill. So whatever you give to this platform will help go a long way. But above your giving also, please like and share. It will give Facebook the opportunity, the YouTube the opportunity to share widely our broadcast so that we can have more people, the more, the merrier. On that faithful note, I'd like to leave you with my uncle, who will have a word of advice for you. Thank you so much.
1,911,844,833 naira and 46. I'll take that again. 1,911,000,000 1,844,000,000 1 trillion. This money is too much for me. 1 trillion. I hope that is not on the record. 1,911,000,000,000.
I am Ido kwasamaka onyoma odika powder. Ido kwasamu pu onyoma odika fomu.